Hello and welcome back to another Milsurp HQ podcast. I'm Tom, and I'm joined by, you could say I'm joined by who?
And I'm Kelly. Thank you all for joining.
What's up? So today, we have the pleasure to speak to a legend in the Milsurp universe, to a man who's been crisscrossing the nation, traversing the globe to acquire great condition Milsurp rifles and putting them on his online shop for over 30 years and counting. And to throw out some teasers, this guest has killed over 100 coyotes as a teenager. He was in a 70s recording rock band. He once owned over 1,700 Swedish Mausers. And he's unironically worn jeans with a sequined heart over his crotch area. We'll get to that later. But our guest for this episode is the passionate proprietor of firearms.com. You might know him as the Mustache. Please welcome none other than Dennis Kroh. Hey, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Nice to be here. Nice to be anywhere.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, glad to have you on.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So we'll go ahead and get to our first set of questions. Our first one is we kind of wanted to ask you about your collection and collecting habits. We heard on your other talk with when you were on the video with Mike B that you only have about 20 guns in your collection.
Crazy.
And
That's
we were
great.
wondering you have access to so many. I'm sure you've seen some incredible things. Like, how do you only keep 20, and how do you determine which ones you want to keep?
Well, it's pretty simple, really. I don't want to be my own best customer. I know a lot of dealers that are like that.
Yep.
And I don't want to be any competition for my other customers, So I can only keep 20 guns. And if I find something I simply have to have, I force myself to sell something that I already have. So I only have 20 guns, and it's a discipline.
So are they like sentimental? Can you share some of the 20?
Oh yeah, there's about 12 of them are firearms that I personally captured and have papers on in Vietnam. There
What?
are
Wow.
yeah. I actually sent home 30 firearms and got paperwork on all 30 of them, but
Wow.
of them grew legs. About 16 of them grew legs, and
Yeah.
I never received them.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But
But how far did you go to collect these? Did you take out the gentleman and then get his wares?
yes, that
Oof.
happened a couple times. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's some amazing sentimental things you have there.
Yeah, it really is. One of my best ones is a PU sniper rifle that I was talking to a sergeant that was standing right next to me, and he gets hit in the chest and just was dead before he hit the ground. And it was about 700 meters away, and I tried to localize him. He didn't shoot again, but I figured out the trajectory and everything like that, and went and hunted his ass down.
Oh shit.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, it took me 2 days. So
Wow.
But-
I was going to ask this a little later, but is there a book in the works or something from you?
I get asked that a lot. I don't think people actually read books anymore. So I get that asked a lot. I've had a lot of different phases in my. I have a lot of different phases in my
Yes.
life.
Yes, we're going to get to some here, and for each section, I was thinking you should write a book about this. You should write. So yes.
Yeah, I know. It would be a very long book, and
Yeah, you've had quite a life, it seems like.
it could be very boring, but I would absolutely make it not boring. So,
Well, you started with the Milsurp. I heard on Mike B's show that you started at 8 years old with a Lee Enfield #4.
correct.
Um, But I was curious, does that now make you, did you become an Enfield guy? Because I heard later on at 12, you had a number 5 jungle carbine.
Yeah.
So
Well,
is that what you
I
were?
lived in England, and it was again, you know. So that's what you have. That's what they had. So that's what you get.
Oh, that's right. You were living in England. All
I
right.
was living in England, yeah. If you want to call that living, I mean,
But
it
even
wa-
today, do you think you're an Enfield guy? Do you call yourself that?
oh no, not at all.
Interesting.
I mean, I do have an affinity for Enfields, and I still have that one that I got when I was 12 years old. The
Uh,
carbine, it's beautiful, absolutely brand new, perfect condition when I got it, and it's still brand new, perfect condition now. So
Beautiful. And
that's the
heard
one
that
you
you,
use to kill
yeah,
the
you
coyotes.
put that one to work.
no, I used a number 4
Okay.
coyotes. The number 5. To be honest, I shot it 3 times. I put 3 rounds downrange when I first got it, and then I picked myself up off the ground after every shot, and I cleaned it. I put it away, and 20 got up the courage to pick it up again. So that was long after the coyotes, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, the coyotes incident was all 1966 and 1968. So, and
Yeah, so
they,
you were paid $75 each.
yeah,
Uh,
$75 a pelt. Sure.
so you had to supply the pelt. So you were killing them and taking the pelts.
No. I call it pelts,
Oh, all right.
but it was the entire animal, and it had to. You had to show up with the entire animal, and it was a messy business. I'll tell you what. You know, what's really funny is that I often did it early in the morning. You know, before dawn, or just right at dawn is when I usually bag them. But I would I'd throw the coyote in the trunk of my car and go to school and have it sit in the hot sun all day.
Oh
And
no.
so and then after school I would turn it in, and so my car, you know, uh, you could smell it coming before you heard it coming. I'll tell you that. You know, it got really, really bad, and there was nothing I could do about it.
Were other kids doing this at your age, or were you weird for doing this?
Um, I was kind of weird for doing that. You know, the all the kids, the cowboys and stuff like that, the rednecks in my high school, all of them hated me, and mainly because I had a really thick English accent, you know, really thick,
Uh,
and all the girls loved me, and so therefore all the boys hated me,
Yeah.
or
That's how it
all the
works.
white boys anyway. There were a lot of Apaches that went to that high school before they built the San Carlos High School, and so a lot of Apaches went to that high school, and I made really good friends with them because I'm colorblind. I don't give a crap what you look like, you know. It's who you are inside that counts. So, you
yeah.
know, I've always been that way. And but the white kids in Arizona high school, they hated all the Apaches because, you know, your grandpa scalped my grandpa, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, a little too
Yep.
close.
Dumbass, you know, really very, very stupid. But anyway, it was interesting. I ended up buying a bunch of guitars, tires, and cars and stuff. At $75 a pelt and 105 coyotes. That's some big bucks, you know.
Yeah, that's some good money back then.
Oh, it was a hell of a lot of money then back then. It was like $1,000 today. So
But then
you
you
know,
left. Then you left and enlisted not too long after, though.
right.
Uh, what was your reason? You wanted to? You were gung ho to enlist, or what?
Well, the thing is that I knew I was going to get drafted. And
Right.
if you get drafted, you've got, you know, you're in for 4 years, and they tell you exactly what you're. And if you enlist, you get a choice of what you're going to do, and you're only in for 3 years. So, you know, I was going to be a doctor, so I went for medical training and became a combat medic. So,
Cool.
You know,
Well, we're we're a Milsurp show here. So what guns were you issued at the time, and do you remember your serials like so many people?
no, oh hell no. And every M16 that I was issued, I managed to kick out of a proper door over a blue line. You know, I hated the M16. I hated it.
Uh,
So,
Yeah, those
yeah.
were rough back then.
Yeah. They didn't work most of the time. You had to really keep them. You had to clean them like 2 or 3 times a day in high humidity, or else they just simply wouldn't work. It was very close tolerances and stuff like that. So I really liked AKs, but every time I got caught with an AK by brass, they'd take it away from me, and
oh, so
they're
you were field capturing AKs?
oh yeah, sure, you bet.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what kind of stuff you would use or capture otherwise.
Well, pistols. I've got a TT-33 that I captured, and a Makarov that I captured, Chinese Makarov. I captured several Russian Makarovs as well, but I was able to turn them into something else. I'd have all these rear echelon types that wanted war trophy, but they didn't have any opportunity to get any. So unless they stole it from the post or something,
Yeah.
Oh well, I'm not bitter.
Well, I don't know if I said it, but thank you for your service. Jeez, it seems like you earned everything, man. Wow.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah, well, it was.
You were kicking ass for us.
I was. Well, at first, I was trying to make sure that I had a brother killed over there, and I wanted to make sure that I couldn't save my brother, but I wanted to save somebody else's brother. So that was my entire purpose of going over there.
I'm taking note of the chapters in the book. I'm gonna force you to write. We got the war, the brother. This is all good stuff. You just have to write the book to get to the movie. We'll get there. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm cloudy though at what you did after you got out of the war and all that. How did you get to the selling Milsurp on a website? I don't know that story. I know more about your wild rock and roll days and your animal kills, but what made you settle down and say, "Hey, I'm going to sell online"?
Believe it or not, when I bought the house that I'm talking to you from right now, 32 years ago, I decided that it's got a lot of big rooms and stuff like that, but it didn't have a dedicated room for my military collection. And I had about 300 guns at the time. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to sell off the everything, all but 20. And, uh, and so I started selling online. But before I did that, I dealt in ancient Greek and Roman coins. And I was very successful with Empire Coins Incorporated, and it was a very very successful company. And I went all over the world and wrote auction catalogs and things like that for other companies as well as my own. And but I kind of got bored with it, and I started this little offshoot company called Empire Arms just to sell my personal collection.
Ah,
But it and all of a sudden, business was booming on that end, and I was getting bored with the coinage. So in 2000, I closed the coin company. I kept it open till 2000, and January 1st, 2000, I closed it and broke a lot of people's hearts, to be honest. But
I don't know much about the coins, but if you ran it like you run this thing, I think I could see how everyone would be upset.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Empire Arms is one of the go-tos for Milsurp.
well, thanks.
And stellar reputation. You said at one point your want list items. No, not one person's ever returned something that you supplied for their want list.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. We
Amazing.
we actually found a little over 4,000 guns for people, and I mean, like, literally, I'd be at a show or something, and I'd pick up a gun off somebody's table and look at it. I'd check my database, and if somebody wanted it, I'd call them right there, and I'd say like, okay, here's this gun. I'm holding it in my hand, and this is exactly what the condition is, and this is how much it's going to cost you. You want it, yes or no?
And
And
we're talking no photos, right?
no photos, no.
See, that's the amazing part. No returns ever with no photo purchasing. So
Yeah, I don't like it returning things or getting anything back. But you could always return anything that you ever bought from us for any or no reason at all. And I didn't care. I want you to be happy. It's the way it is.
Yeah, that's how you
Yeah.
get the reputation you got of being one of the best dealers out there.
Now, we stopped the want list service about 2 years ago. We discontinued doing that, and reason being is that people would contact me and say, "Well, you never have any SVT 40s or something." Not saying like we sold 18 of them last year, and they go, "You're lying," because I get your lists and I never saw but 2 on your list. You couldn't possibly have sold 18 of them last year. Well, I sold them directly to people on the want list.
Yeah.
When they contact me saying that on the want list, they've already been looking for it for a long time. If it was easy to find, they'd have found it.
Yeah.
But or if they found a bunch of crappy ones and they wanted a really, really super nice one, then they would say that. And
right.
if I found a super nice one, I'd contact them and say, "Here it is. It's a super nice one, and I guarantee you're gonna like it." And if they didn't, I didn't care. They could send it back, but nobody ever did.
So for the website, is the current one the same one you set up back in like the early 2000s?
No, it's the same one I set up in 1993.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Same one, exactly. And a lot of people give me crap, dinosaur site and stuff. You need to have all this, zippity doo dah, uh, uh, you know, modernized things and
So are
and
you going to say for the record, you will not be ever updating to a shopping cart and all that?
well, no, I mean a shopping cart's stupid because we don't have 20 of the same thing. Shopping cart's great if
Well,
you had 20 of the same thing. If you have something with one serial number, you do a whole shopping cart and then you sell it and it's finished. So
Yeah.
so no, I'm not going to have a shopping cart now.
Yeah, I don't think you've had any trouble selling these, so.
Oh no, I don't have
no.
no trouble at all.
What part of the country do you think is ordering from you the most? Anything in particular, or it's just everywhere?
You're not going to like this answer.
Uh-oh.
California.
What?
California.
That's exactly right. I knew you were going to say what?
Yeah. Holy cow.
Yeah. And those guys have such restrictions on them right now.
Right.
Everything has to ship to a dealer. And especially now, oh my goodness, everything has to ship to a dealer. The dealer can charge them anything they want,
Wow.
and it's usually $25 to do a transfer. Plus, they have to pay California state sales tax on the price and on the shipping.
Wow. Jeez.
And you're saying they're the number one people still with all that, with all those restrictions?
With all those restrictions, yeah. Yeah,
They're
about
desperate.
half of my customers at one point were from California because I originally moved to Florida from California, and I had a lot of people that I knew and and who knew me or knew of me. So I'd go to a gun show in California, and people would just follow me around and want to see everything that I picked up. They'd come over and they'd usually buy it. One of them would buy it. If then he bothered to look at this thing, then it's got to be cool. So it was kind of weird. Not that I wasn't used to weird, but you know.
You've probably seen weird on your road trips, though. Have you seen you must have met a bunch of characters. Have you seen any amazing collections though, like gun rooms or safe rooms or whatever it is, bunkers or something? Because you're always
Absolutely.
traveling.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've
Uh,
got a guy in New Jersey that wants me to buy his entire collection, but he's in New Jersey and I don't want to go there and buy anything and try to get out of New Jersey.
Yeah.
But
it's a trap.
yeah, it's even more interesting than that, but I can't go into it. But he's got machine guns, he's got all kinds of stuff, it's just like what? You know,
Wow.
Wow.
but
You ever
yeah,
dealt in any of the NFA stuff, or kind of stayed out of that
no,
realm?
I decided that when we were going to be a dealer, I ended up selling all of my personal NFA stuff. And when I decided to be a dealer, I didn't want to be up my butt with a stethoscope or whatever, microscope every day. Uh, I didn't want any kind of grief, so I decided I was going to sell all my personal collection and everything. So I did, and then about 15 years later, one of the main guys that I sold a bunch of guns to had brain cancer, and he wanted to know if I wanted to buy him back, and I said, "Hell, I can't afford him." And he goes, "You don't understand. I just want my money back. You always treated me right, and if you'll give me my money back, that'll be fine. Just like putting money in the bank.
Right.
I just want it back." And it turned into something very interesting. So I did purchase some of the NFA stuff back, but it's not for sale.
Do you say no to any other items? You don't want to deal with NFA?
Well,
Is it?
Yeah. What about like militaria or accessories, gear, that kind of stuff?
no, we don't really deal in anything that doesn't go bang. But I also don't deal in modern like assault weapon, and I'm using my fingers as quotation marks.
Right.
But I don't want the grief from that. We also don't sell to the public, so ATF pretty much leaves me alone because I don't get we don't do any 4473s or at all, and
Right.
we
Oh,
only
okay.
sell to dealers and licensed collectors. We don't sell. We're not open to the public at all, so don't need to be.
Yep.
And
It's a good way of doing it.
How far back do you go? I've seen Mauser 71 black powder. I think I've seen some Gra rifles. Do you ever go back to, I can't remember, flintlocks and percussion and
sure, we have, but those were not usually conserved very well, and because the conservation of a military firearm was not an issue until after World War One. Because the government gave this to me to use, but it's not mine, and I don't care about it, and so they just let it go to hell, and nobody cleaned their weapons back in those days. No, you ever see a western where somebody's like meticulously cleaning their gun? No, they shoot it. They shoot. We were watching this Billy the Kid thing, and Billy the Kid is sitting there. He shoots about 14 times with a 6 shooter without reloading. But does he ever clean the damn thing? No. It's just
It'll be rusty in a few days.
yeah, exactly. It doesn't care.
that's why there's no Wild West handguns either on the site much.
That's right. Exactly.
Have you ever had any famous or celebrity customers?
Yes.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Now you could tell us either who they were or what they got, but maybe you can't say both.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'd rather not.
How about
You
what profession?
Well, I've had actors. I've had I was a member of the Screen Extras Guild in Hollywood, California for quite a few years. I lived out there and was an extra in movies too.
Oh,
So
so Right. Let me put this in the book. I gotta put it Hollywood chapter 4.
Next chapter, yeah.
Man,
Yeah, Blues Brothers movie, and
cool.
and several. I was in several Chuck Norris movies actually, and and other A Star Is Born and things like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I knew a lot of actors. I knew a lot of musicians. Still do. You know, I've never considered it anything other than a job that somebody else does. They've got their job. I've got my job, and theirs isn't any cooler than mine is. So I don't let it get to my head, and I don't put anybody on a pedestal either. So
Right. Their job's cooler than mine is. I'll just say that. But they are. but I don't put them on a pedestal.
it's different. Every job, no matter what, touring musician comes with its own set of problems. You don't know where you are. Every town looks the same because you're inside a taxi cab, or you're inside a limousine, or you're inside a hotel room, or you're on a stage and all the people look the same, and it's just you go like, hey, Chicago, and they go like, no, we're in Cleveland. Stuff like that. Happens.
Yeah, I guess every job could get annoying.
Yeah. And you don't know who your friends are. It's very, very hard to tell who your friends are because everybody wants something from you, and it's just it's and same thing with actors, and so I mean, Robin Williams was a good friend of mine, but
Oh, cool.
yeah, but I didn't treat him like Robin Williams either,
Right.
so
Yeah, well, you were in that scene, so you got to be closer.
yeah, and it's not that it's just that I always treat everybody the same, so and they kind of like take notice of it, and you say like, what, hey, don't you know who I am? Yeah. What don't you know who my father is? Why didn't your mother tell you?
I like that. All right, I think we got a few more questions related to the business.
Right.
So, what's been the biggest difference that you've noticed from like when you started the business to now, like changing customers, changing like trends and what people want, or buying and selling trends?
Well, the supply is completely gone to the crapper, because we used to buy a lot of guns from overseas and import a lot of things, and everything that could have been imported has already been imported, almost 99% of it at least.
Yeah.
So it people go like, hey, when you going to get in some more 98Ks? Probably never. Like,
This is terrible news.
yeah, as soon as one of my customers who has 30 of them dies, that's bad thing, but that's pretty much what it is. But
Right.
there's not, that one horde of guns from Ethiopia. That was just that a certain.
Yeah, we're gonna bring that up in a little bit.
Okay,
Just have a couple of questions on that.
good.
But you
Yeah.
had once almost 2,000 Swedish Mausers, and I heard you tell this story, but could you just remind us how you convinced and all the ammo companies to produce 6.5 Swede that we are all enjoying now, even to this day?
Well, that was funny because I got 1,700 of them from a company who owed me money, and they were never going to pay me, so I had to take these off their hands, and I was selling the long ones for $69, the short ones with the scrape bolts for $89, and the short ones with the butt bolts, the Husqvarnas, for $99.
So did
And
the person that owed you money? They didn't have money because they just bought 1,700 Swedish Mausers.
no, they didn't have money because they were because they had glue on their fingers. Okay,
Uh,
all right.
Jeez.
They're very, very notorious for once they got the money, they could not possibly let go of it. So yeah. But anyway, I had, after a year of, like I said, I was selling them, but I wasn't really. We were selling them very slowly, because why would you pay $69 for a rifle when a box $35, a single box, 20 rounds, Norma, and so you're not going to buy a rifle for 69 or
It's
even
half the
90.
price of the rifle.
yeah.
Yeah, but the ironic thing is that if you wanted to use that for hunting, a box of shells could last you 5 years because you wouldn't miss with it. They were so accurate that unless you had 3 or 4 deer tags, and nobody did.
So you had 1,700 like great condition Swedish Mausers.
Oh yeah, they were all in excellent or better condition.
Oh,
Super duper ones. So I handpicked them, and I knew what I was looking at, and I didn't pick any of the dogs. I just got the cat.
Very
But
nice.
but after a year, I still had 1,500 of them,
oh
and
shit.
after 2 years, I had like 1,380 of them. Nobody was buying them because they were just selling so slowly because you couldn't get ammo.
So how
So
much was like a box of 30-06 at the same time, or something like that?
oh yeah, 30-06 was easy to get.
How much was it? Like $5 a box? $10?
Well, 30-06 was about $3 or $4 a box
Crazy.
Oh
for
yeah.
30-06.
So 10 times cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah, and the SHOT Show in 1995, it was 94? No, 95. SHOT Show in January of 95. I walked around and I walked up to these manufacturers, and I walk up to Remington and say, "Hey, are you going to make any 6.5 by 55? There's really a demand for it, need for it." And they said, "Oh no, hell no, we can't make any money at that." And I went to Federal, same story. I went to Winchester, or Remington, all these companies. Not interested. I went to Hornady. I'm talking to Steve Hornady, and I said, like, "Hey, you 6.5 is a really, really great cartridge. Too bad nobody makes it." And he goes, "That's a great idea, Danny. I think we're going to put that on our list, on our agenda, and we're going to start producing it. How many rounds you want?" And I said, I'll take 100,000 rounds." And okay, well, there we go. That's our first order. We're doing it now for sure. Hell yeah. You don't have to pay me nothing. Just I'll ship you the ammo with the invoice. So then I walked over to Remington and said, "Hey, you guys really screwed up because Steve Hornady right over there. He's gonna." And then I went to Federal and I went to Winchester and said the same thing. And they would go up to Steve and say, like, "Hey, are you really going to do 6.5 by 55?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey, got a big fat order for it. Oh crap, So they all started producing it, and we sold out of those. We had about 1,350 by that time, and sold out of them in about 3 months.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that's all you
Wow.
needed.
Wow, you
Yeah.
had it for years.
yeah,
Wow,
But-
you wheeling and dealing, and those are big names. Remington.
yeah,
Hornady.
and they were
Wow.
selling themselves for $12.95, and and for $12.95. Oh hell yeah, and the reloadable thing, yeah, I had a couple of people I talked into writing articles about how wonderful the caliber was, and different magazines, and hello, shooting times and stuff like that. Hello, so
Smart way of
yeah,
doing it.
well, I had to do something. Then I ended up. I found out that Sweden was selling off all of their Mausers, and I, how many could they possibly have? 26,000.
Whoa.
So yeah, so I go to Stockholm and go to the auction to buy these Mausers, and I'm bidding, and it was like, okay, going once, going twice, up. Oh, we got another bid. Okay,
No.
so I bid again, going once, going. Oh, we got another bid. Now I'm looking around. I couldn't see anybody bidding, but finally it got up to a point where it was kind of stupid. So I decided, oh hell, what the hell? I'll let them have it.
Oh
And
man.
yeah, so they bought it. It was Samco Global Arms.
Oh,
Oh.
And one of the guys from Samco comes over and says, "Hey, Denny, what did we just buy?" But it
Ah.
included 1,000 sniper rifles, the 41Bs,
Right. Oh.
yeah, I remember they had those.
and all kinds of stuff. And then they sold them all of their ammo. So now they have Milsurp ammo, 40, the 1941 sniper ammo, not the crap ammo, the regular ball ammo. They sold them the Sprit sniper ammo, and they sold them to Samco for almost nothing. And it was very, very weird situation. Samco ended up doing this. They bought the things in Swedish marks, and then the Swedish mark was devalued by almost half. So they
Oh.
ended up paying half of what I would have easily paid for this stuff, and they had a couple of years to pay too. So
Oh man.
yeah,
So they made out. So
they
that's
made out
crazy.
like
You,
man.
you almost had 27,000 Swedish rifles. Wow.
Yeah, well, over the years, I mean, I bought over 10,000 Swedish Mausers from them, and and a whole bunch of snipers too, hundreds of snipers.
So what
Uh,
what did you, what were
from
you, what was your
Samco.
plan if you got all these? Because weren't you still operating out of your own home?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, we got a warehouse and stuff, but we'd have to get a much bigger warehouse. But no, my plan was to actually go in,
Couple of extra
cahoots-
lives.
go into cahoots with a couple other dealers, and I wasn't gonna try and at the time we had more employees and stuff, so it wouldn't have been too bad. But anyway, it as it was, I mean, I would just go down to Miami. I flew my own airplane down there several times to buy Mausers. Uh, really had a interesting time doing that. But I would just drive down to Miami and fill up my van and fill up. And I also had a big trailer and fill it up too with Mausers and snipers and stuff like that. Come back up here and list them and sell
It's
the hell out of them.
sounds like a lot of our daydreams. To
Yeah, sounds like a
around and get Milsurp,
fly down, get some Milsurps.
Yeah,
sunny weather.
yeah, yeah. I used to fly up to Vermont also to buy some guns from a certain company, and they would contact me and tell me that they just got in this group of stuff, and I would jump in my airplane, fly up there, and by the time I got there, either they didn't have it anymore, or the stuff that they got that was so beautiful turned out to be absolute crap that I wouldn't buy. But I could, I always bought something from them. I always came back with some really good stuff.
You've got the eye for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there anything you regret passing on that you easily could have purchased? Not that you got outbid, but looking back, like, oh shit, that was one I should have taken.
Well, not really, not really.
That's good.
I'm I mean, I've got a pretty good eye, and I know pretty much what I want to get. I mean, I did buy a whole bunch of those unissued Irish contract Enfields, and at one point I had 160 of them, and including like 30 consecutive numbered ones and stuff like that. And they were all in mummy wrap, and most of them had matching number bayonets and stuff like that. And I wish I'd bought more of those, but
Yeah.
but as it was, they weren't running out the door, even though I wasn't charging very much money for them. It'd be nice if I just kept all of them, but you can't do that.
Yeah.
I buy guns and sell guns and use the money that a lot of dealers. There are some people that some consider my competitors who have like hundreds of guns in stock, but they never sell anything because they have to have the last nickel for them. And I don't think that way.
How do you see your prices? How do you look at Gunbroker or other sites or you just you've been doing it long enough, you know?
I've been doing it long enough. I know, or at least I think I know.
Yeah, your
But
prices
I
are
mean,
always-
Gunbroker is all over the place. You can't count on Gunbroker for anything, to be honest.
yeah, your prices are always pretty spot on, I'd say.
Yeah, I try. It's I mean, there are some things that are on our webpage now that haven't moved, and I guess my prices are not so spot on those, but it's very, very, like maybe 1% of the things that I bought in the last year,
Well,
so not even
and you also don't negotiate. You're very firm with your prices
oh yeah, very firm.
and no trades.
No
Like,
trades.
but if you take 600 for the Martini Henry, I'd take it off your hands.
Yeah,
um,
but you don't know what I paid for it, and sometimes
I
I do sell things for less than I paid for it. I just to make somebody happy and to free the money up for other things. It's just
that's
I think
amazing.
I make mistakes too.
Yep.
But it's funny that when I go to buy a collection from somebody and they're going like, well, I paid X amount of money and I got to have that, and I'm like, I don't care what you paid for it. I know what I can get for it, and unless you bought it from me, because anything you bought that was been purchased from us, we guarantee will pay at least 80% of
Oh,
what it was, and nobody else will give that kind of guarantee. Absolutely not. No way.
and you've purchased back like hundreds of people's guns, right? Haven't you?
Oh yeah, thousands, many thousands.
Wow. Oh yeah, you've got whole collections back from the
Yeah.
widows at times as well.
Oh sure, sure. And when we treat the widows very, 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 overly generous, to be honest. I mean, I'll buy all the dogs as well as the cats. It's uh I buy collector's mistakes, and stuff like that. I mean, if the collector's still with us and he's going to be with us for a while, I'll let them try and sell them themselves. But some widow that doesn't know anything about guns, I'm not going to say, well, you got to sell this crap to somebody else because I don't want it. We'll buy everything, and
And
including
I,
modern guns, including
good.
commercial, everything. We will, and with the commercial things, we usually I'll pay about what I can get for them. I try not to make money on those things, but I figure what I ought to be able to get for them from another dealer or something.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to be trustworthy like that because like gun stores here, I think if my wife went in and tried to sell them, they would try to get every dime out of her, even though they're nice guys, quote unquote. It's
I know.
business wise, they'll just try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's business, and it's not the
You have to live with
easiest.
yourself too.
Yeah. I mean, I look at myself every day in the mirror when I shave, and I do shave, by the way, but not the mustache. But I want to be able to, like what I see, not say, oh, there's that cheating bastard. It's like
Yeah. Buddy.
Speaking of the mustache, that was going to be one of our next questions. We're going to ask, when did that start, or why did you decide to go with that?
About 2000, I guess it was, when I discontinued being a coin dealer. I decided I was going to grow myself a righteous mustache, and because as a coin dealer, I mean, like literally, I was 3-piece suits and so slicked down and everything like that. Because you're dealing with all these pompous jerks and stuff. And I mean, it wasn't me, right? It just wasn't me. So I decided that I was, gonna, like when I got out of the army, I decided I was never gonna cut my hair again. So I didn't for a very long time.
So we kind of touched upon the current market a bit, but since the pandemic, have you noticed a big change, or it just temporary change at the time, and now we're back to normal, quote unquote normal?
We're not back to normal by any means. There's very few handguns that are being traded right now. Um, I can't find anybody that wants to sell their handguns. It's
Wow,
yeah,
that's the
and
next market to watch.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why we've had so many, rifle lists and stuff like that. And lately, when I get a small group of handguns, it's not even worth putting that list out. I'll just arbitrarily, stick them on our regular pistols page and not tell anybody. Just see if people notice. Or I'll say, hey, yeah, we added some guns to our pistols page. Have a look.
And what do you say? Did you used to see a lot of, say, 10 years ago that you definitely don't see anymore?
Oh wow.
Like we're saying, the pistols are drying up. Is there anything like G41s or
No, there never was a lot of G41. Sniper rifles of all types are just very, 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 very elusive, and that's because people think that they're worth a lot more than they are. But
yeah, the assembled sniper rifles are going for a lot now. They're catching up,
yeah.
like the fake ones.
Oh, you mean like the PUs?
Yeah, like the fake like the repro scoped PUs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
somebody just bought all the parts and put them together.
right. Yeah, but everybody who has an assembled one says, "Oh yeah, this is definitely original."
Yep.
Okay, if that's what you think, go ahead, keep on thinking that, but it's not true.
Yep.
But all the older vets and older collectors dying off that we're hearing about, like what are they holding on to? What's going to be the next thing to then you think flood the market? These older guys, what are they holding on to?
I really don't know. A lot of the older, and I see a lot of the older guys like at these shows, but they're, the World War II guys are almost all gone now, and their things are all pretty much dispersed. There's Korean War guys, but they didn't bring hardly anything home, and
What are the Vietnam vets into, and that you've seen?
um, I don't really talk to them much anymore. I used to a lot. But yeah, nobody was crazy like me and brought home 30 firearms. Some of them might have brought home one or two, but and they threw away the paperwork as soon as they got home. Just
Wait, you still have all your paperwork? You said.
yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow, that's cool.
for 30 firearms. So
Are
Yeah.
you gonna photograph that and put it up somewhere, like a little
probably
museum?
not. Nah, I don't
Ah,
think.
like to see
So.
that.
Yeah, there were a bunch of things that grew, like I said, that grew legs that I'm never going to see again. But one of the things, I had a half brother that was staying with my dad, and he wasn't even my dad's kid, but one of my mom's sons, and he was much older than me, and he was staying with my dad while I was in Vietnam. And a package arrived, and he absconded with it. It was a sniper rifle, a PU sniper rifle.
Oh.
And in 1997, he was involved. He had a very bad accident where his car flipped over and landed upside down in the river in Cody, Wyoming, and he was killed. And they going through his belongings and stuff, they found this rifle and a note that said, "This rifle belongs to my brother Dennis."
Ah.
So they gave me a call letting me know that he had died, and then the next breath they said, "Oh, by the way, we have this rifle that belongs to you, and you want it back?" I said, "Duh."
Absolutely.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so many years later. That's glad he got it back.
Yeah, me too. But I'm, sad that he had to die. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
but he did steal it. So but he didn't consider it stealing. It showed up, and as far as he was concerned, I was going to die anyway. So he
Wow.
was just holding it for me.
Yeah, he just borrowed it.
Yeah. He also borrowed my dad's wallet and disappeared. So.
So for the future of the Milsurp market, do you foresee prices ever kind of stabilizing or coming back down, or probably always going to continue going up as more and more people get into the hobby?
Well, I'm not in favor of rising prices at all, because that just means I have to pay more for stuff, and
Yep.
then try to justify, the my higher prices, which I don't like to do. But I think that's possibly the only possibility. I mean, I don't think originally, when I decided I was going to close my coin business, my ancient coin business, I figured I could just do this for a while until they make it illegal, and ban all the guns, and then I could just turn around. And that's why I never burned any bridges. I could go back and become a coin dealer again, and just take off from where I stopped. And
Oh yeah.
and and actually that's not a bad thing. I just went to a coin show in New York City in January, and I got treated like a rock star. When I walked through the place, everybody was just jumping up and running up and grabbing a
Oh
hold of me,
shit.
and hugging
Did you
me
have,
and stuff. And
did you
oh
have
my
your suit on? That nice suit?
no, I didn't actually. I was
Oh.
Yeah, I was just wearing my clothes. And I mean, I look nice, but I didn't look like somebody that you'd cross the street to avoid. But they knew it was me.
We were talking about RTI earlier, and if people don't know, Dennis he had first dibs on the Ethiopian cash, and I think when he was knee deep in goat shit, he said no. Is that when it was?
It was 2006, and I was in Addis Ababa for like, well, 4 days
Wow.
looking at this stuff, and it was grim. I'll tell you what. There were some things I would have bought the M1 carbines because they were still in crates and they were pretty nice condition and not covered in goat shit. But
Was it all or nothing? You had to buy all
but
of it?
I had to buy all or nothing, and so I said no, no.
All right.
Oh well, we make you a very good price. I said, like, look, if you taped $100 bill onto every single one of these rifles and tried to give them to me, I wouldn't take them. I mean, literally, that was exactly what I told them. And
So I
there
was gonna say, was it about the condition? Was that it was 100% about the condition?
it was 100% about the condition. Yeah. There were some really, really, really super cool guns in there, but there was just no way. It was all rusted shut and rotten, rotten wood attached to rusted metal. There's no way. A lot of those guns were tossed into a solvent tank for a week, and then they been taken and use a hammer to try to open the bolt up. And sometimes the bolt handle would break off. and the bolt would not open. I mean, just no way. No.
It's-
And there were
It sounds like if you gave cavemen a bunch of Milsurp rifles.
pretty much. I mean, there were bugs that lived and died in the bores of a lot of those things, you know. And I wasn't going to have it. And they go a lot, and they were cheap. They were offered to me at about 40% what somebody paid for them in the end. So,
Wow.
you know, but no. And I had time to pay. They said, we'll give you terms and stuff like that. No, sorry, don't want them. Ain't gonna do it. You know.
Who's doing the wire wheeling? When was that taking place on all of those?
Oh, it's done here, done in
Wait.
Florida.
They wire wheel it here?
Mm-hmm. You bet.
Oh my God.
Why?
Oh, because you can't get through the crap that's caked on them, you know,
Oh.
and rust and clumps of stuff. You know, they're just horrid. They're just absolutely horrid. Many of them were not recognizable for unless you really knew the stuff. There's no way you'd be able to identify what kind of gun they were
Oh my
trying to
God.
be.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was I have never been more happy not buying something than that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I went to Ecuador and I saw a bunch of and this was a long time ago, several decades ago. But I went to Ecuador and saw a bunch of like 1871/84 and Gewehr 88 Mausers, and they were just stacked up, you know, in the open, and at 14,000 feet. You know, went up there in a helicopter to look
Oh
at
my
them,
God.
and no, I couldn't buy those either. They were much nicer.
How many of those? How many were there? Do you think they
Oh,
made it to America eventually?
yeah, they did. They did. Gibbs had them, and but they were pretty grim. The Gibbs ended up having wood made for the 7184s, and had stocks made for them, and had to replace all the springs and stuff like that, you know. But at least those things you could access and stuff, you know, and there weren't bugs up there at that altitude, so you know it wasn't so bad. But still, you know, they were not acceptable condition for me to buy, you know. But it did go and have a look, you know. Went to
How
Chile.
many in the Ethiopia cache? How many total do you think there were?
33,000, 34.
Whoa.
You know, I'm not sure. You couldn't really tell. You couldn't count the damn thing. You know, they were just stacked and stacks and stacks of them, with goats bouncing around on top.
That's a damn shame, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was. I mean, it was in a little shed too. You know, it's like a barn. You know, but not. You know, there's no climate control whatsoever.
See, I thought maybe there was an issue with importing and the logistics of that, and that you just didn't want to bother.
Oh no,
But
no, that wouldn't have been a problem. Most of the things were antique.
are you still looking? Like, if another one comes up, would you go fly to some country and look?
Sure.
Oh wow, cool.
I would if there was, but I don't think there is. But yeah, I'm up for that.
And I
We
forget
were
you have your own plane. You fly your own plane, right?
well, not anymore. I sold my plane.
Ah,
When Deb and I got together, she had 4 airplanes. So, you know, and we just had our 8th anniversary, our 8th wedding anniversary yesterday.
Oh, congrats.
hey, congrats. All right, it's time for a quick game of trivia.
Okay.
All right. So this is the part of the show where we get topics we want to talk about and different random cool facts and stuff and give it to the listeners. So easy peasy, just yell out the answers. They're not going to be hard.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Question 1. After the Walter factory was destroyed in World War II and production was prohibited in Germany after the war, Walter contracted a company in this country in 1953 to make all post-war PPs and PPKs until the Gun Control Act of 1968 went into effect.
France.
Correct. So my follow-up question is, do you care much for the commercial and post-war stuff as much? Do you you still look at it, but you just don't buy it, or?
Oh no, I still look at it, but if it's still in production, I'm pretty much out. I try not to buy things that are still in production, but if they're of a military type, that's what I like. We don't really do any kind of commercial, sporting kind of guns and stuff like that. I had some sporting kind of guns that I just gave to an auction company, like a week ago. That and they were really really cool things, but they're just outside of my boathouse.
Yeah, most of the list is right in my boathouse.
Oh, okay.
So I appreciate. All right, question 2. In the mid 1930s, an estimated 1,000 model 1903 Springfield rifles, had the stock assembly and front and rear sights removed, the trigger staked in place to make the rifle intended to be inserted into and fired from a large artillery coast gun for a low-cost, short-range training rifle cannon gun, and were designated this.
Oh, I don't know what that designation was. I don't deal in those things at all. But I got a Swedish Mauser that was one of those things. It's really
Well,
weird looking.
It's the 1903 A2. They called it.
Oh,
They
okay.
actually put an A2 on it.
Oh, that's right.
So do you get many or see many like trial or experimental rifles like during your searches?
Not hardly ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
People are holding on to those.
I guess they. I just try to do the average. What would actually be issued to a soldier. And not
Right.
something that was designed and not put in production. So
How often do you come across something that you just don't know what it is?
not very often. Not very often at all.
Yeah, seems like you know your way around them pretty well.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to.
All right, question 3 here. A firearm found with a round stock cartouche marked with these 2 words is the most common way to verify that it was captured by the Germans during World War I.
Deutsches Reich.
Correct. Deutsches Reich. So I guess Russian captures would be the most capture, but do you get many capture rifles?
Sure. A lot. Especially Finnish captures, But
So the Finnish have the SA, the Hungary have the AZF. Are there any other ones that
oh yeah. There's quite
you
a
look for?
there's we just had an Austrian capture Mosin on Type 91 on our website, and OE WG.
Yeah, I don't expect them to last long. When I see those, I'm like, all right, that's going.
Yeah.
People love that bit of history.
It actually didn't. It was an antique too. It was on an antique receiver, and it didn't sell right away.
That's-
It actually made it to our regular rifles page and lasted for about a half a day on that.
I purchased a capture from you, a Russian capture, because I wanted a Czech K98 and a Russian capture, and this checked both boxes. So
Oh yeah.
that was, and it's still a great. I know people have problems with the Russians and changing the finish on it and writing all over it, but they're
Yeah,
still
those things were not
K98s.
gonna. They weren't gonna be worth anything. I mean, I was told, by all these so-called collectors, high-end collectors, that these things were worthless and junk and all this kind of stuff, and I almost believed them too. But
Not now, that's for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, no, they've got their own I mean, I've actually met people in St. Petersburg who were put to work in the mid 50s putting these things back together again. You know,
Oh, cool.
they had German prisoners completely disassemble these things, except for not completely. They didn't take the barrel off of the receiver, but they took all the other parts off and threw each piece into these little bins that were the size of dump trucks, really huge bins.
Uh,
And and uh and all the cleaning rods, for instance, and the capture screws for the the action bolts, they got thrown into a big bin, and they were melted down to make tanks. So
whoa.
that's
Boy,
why
it's
none of
it's
them.
it's like a Milsurp collector's nightmare, picturing all the guns
Yeah.
being destroyed, disassembled, melted down.
Well, they only melted down they melted down anything that was not a 98K. They had a whole bunch of the 9840s, and they had a whole bunch of Gewehr 98s and stuff like that. They went immediately into the vat to be melted.
Oh no.
And oh yeah, by them tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. They all
See,
got
that's
melted.
interesting. That's you see the production numbers, you assume that's how many are out there, but you hear
Oh
about
no.
how many are getting destroyed,
Yeah,
thousands.
yeah. And but during the mid 50s, after they cleaned up the war damage and stuff like that, they decided that to keep the Russian populace from just drinking vodka and fighting, beating the crap out of each other all day because they were bored, they decided to have a make work project, and they had a bunch of like the populace, tens of thousands of people that whose job was to put these things back together again, the 98Ks. And they would take a part out of a bin and see if it fit. If it didn't fit, they throw it back in there, and they take another part, make it fit, and put them back together again. Of course, they didn't try to match serial numbers or anything, but
Right. Don't
but
worry, they had the electro pencil guy there to
the electric pencil guy,
fix
yeah,
that.
that's right.
Yeah.
And that's all they really cared about. If the thing came together and turned into a functional weapon, that was fine. And they were utilized basically for reserves for the what was East Germany. They were going to issue them to the troops that were defending East Germany, and they had control of the 8mm ammo as well. So, but they didn't want to give them AKs or SKSs or anything, in a Russian caliber.
When did they then make them over here?
Well, the Make Work project lasted from 1955 to about 1963, and the first ones that were imported in any kind of quantity was in 1992 after the fall of the Soviet Union. So Russia sold 30,000 of them to the West. But that's all they had. They had 30,000. But they were giving them to Vietnam. They were giving them to Cuba. They were giving them to Angola. Any commie wannabe countries, they would
Yeah.
be given these weapons to
You
fight
know,
the oppressing.
they get the bad reputation, but they were pretty serviceable for a lot
They
of
were very serviceable.
areas.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
shoot good. Shoot
I
well.
captured 298Ks in Vietnam, but both of them, neither one of them made it here. But
Wow. Do
yeah.
you know what? Wait, were they real K98Ks or the Chinese ones, or what were they?
No. They were 98Ks, Russian captured electro pencil guns.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Wow.
sure.
Wow.
But that was the only, source for them were bringbacks until 1992, when 30,000 of them showed up, and then in 2002 when 20,188 of them got imported.
Shit, that's a new story I could tell about my Russian capture now that it was in Vietnam.
Yeah, could have been in Vietnam.
Could have been.
I'll
Well,
say
it
maybe,
would have
could
to
have
have
been.
rust all over it and pitting and stuff like that from
Oh yeah,
gun.
every mark on it is blood pitting. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, that does exist. Trust me, it exists.
I know, but it also everyone says it for everything now.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't.
Nope.
I'm sure you've seen it for real, so
I have seen
I'll
it for
trust
real.
you. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. My TG-33 and my Chinese Makarov, both of them got leaked all over them, and I didn't have a chance to clean them off. And by the time the TG-33 in particular, I tried to take out of the holster and I couldn't. It was cemented in there. I had to cut the holster off of it.
People have been talking about blood pitting for so like that's like you have a true example that you could document. So definitely take
Oh,
photos of that at some point.
And, yeah, absolutely. I
It'll
mean,
help identify.
what's blood made out of but salt and oxygen, you know? I mean,
True. Yeah.
yeah, and protein, salt, and oxygen. That doesn't do steel. I'll tell you what. It tends to gobble it up. But anyway,
I got two more.
okay.
Two more. Question 4. Swiss. Now we're going back. Swiss Vetterli model 1878 and 81 rifles sometimes had a curious addition in the way of a butt trap underneath the steel butt plate, which you had to unscrew to get to. It had no access door like the Murata had. But if the butt plate is removed, there's a compartment in there and it holds this.
Firing pin.
Oh, see, no one gets this one. You got this.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a spare firing pin under there, and usually wrapped up in a little piece of cloth. And I bought a bunch of butt stocks from a deceased dealer who I don't know why he had a whole bunch of parts and stuff for Vetterli's, and I bought a bunch of butt stocks, and I'm looking at him going like, the butt plate's still on this thing, and if I take that butt plate off and I pull out a firing pin, I'm going to be surprised. And there was a firing pin in every single one of them. So if
Wow, yeah.
anybody needs a firing pin for a Vetterli, I'll give you a firing pin.
The fact that it's behind a screwed in butt plate is just throws everybody off.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
mean, I didn't know that's awesome.
Yeah, but I have some of them, and I'm not selling them or anything, but I'll be glad to give you one if you have one, if you need
Everyone
one.
needs-
Heard it here, folks.
All right, last question. The
Okay.
Type 22 Murata was Japan's first repeater rifle and also the first smokeless rifle, their first smokeless, when it was chambered in this cartridge.
Oh darn.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I don't.
that's the reason I'm asking is these obsolete cartridges
Yeah.
are a problem in this
Yeah,
world.
that is a problem.
Oh, it's 8 by 53R.
Yeah, 8 by 53R. Yeah.
So I think we asked kind of a little before, but when if you sold like a Siamese Mauser, do you market a little cheaper, knowing that it's hard to find the ammo for that these days?
Oh yeah, sure. I
That's
pay less for it because you can't shoot the damn thing. And
like Danish
oh,
crags and stuff.
and I just had somebody offer me 3 Italian Vetterlis, but they were chambered in 6.5, and he offered them to me. He thought they were worth a heck of a lot of money, but in the end, his price was considerably less after I told him that those things would probably blow up and ruin your face. And 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 he tried to sell them to me. I did buy some Carcanos from the guy, but he tried to sell me these Vetterlis, and I wouldn't buy them. And he was really, really sad.
Our friend collects those, and you kind of have to be real careful with your loads if you gotta.
Yeah,
You
you got
can't just throw in a modern 6.5 and expect. You got to check it out. Make sure.
Oh, yeah.
Be careful.
No, I do have a customer who hand loads for it, and he has really, really good results with his hand loads. But
But
that's the only
6.5's
one.
available now, and it's very tempting for someone to say, fuck it, I'm gonna just put this in.
see what happens.
And
Yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah, well, you can go ahead and do that, but it's really hard to get that bolt out of your forehead. So and that's what would happen. Those bolts aren't held in by much.
So I only stumped you a little bit on the 8x53Rs. You got everything else. That was good.
Oh well, yay me.
You're a pro.
Yeah, I don't usually get very many Muratas. I think I've had 3 ever. In over 30 years. And none recently. So I probably would have remembered that. But although I'll probably run into a couple of them in Tulsa. It's the biggest gun show in the world. So
Oh yeah, Tulsa's cool. I've been one time, and it was a really good time.
yeah, and you limped for how many weeks?
A lot of walking, a lot of walking.
Yeah,
It's so big.
it really is. Yeah, it's massive show. But yeah, it's coming up in less than a month, couple weeks.
Yep.
Yeah,
So we have a couple more. Oh, sorry. Are you going though? You gonna say you going?
Oh yeah. Of
Yeah.
course, we have the same 2 tables that we've had for
Yeah.
25 years, and we're going through. We're gonna drive through like Louisiana and Texas, and going there, and then through Arkansas and Tennessee and stuff like that, coming back. So we kind of make a circuit, and we stop by and see collectors along the way. And
What are you driving that you can pick up guns on the way?
Oh,
What do you have a trailer with you?
No. We just have a van, a white van.
Wow. So that van is you loaded up by the end of the trip. You loaded.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's had we bought 380 guns and how many thousands? 37,000 rounds of ammunition in one trip.
The car was dragging.
380 guns and 37,000 rounds of ammunition. So
Wow.
and it was just its ass was dragging. Let me tell you.
Filled to the roof.
I was able to go 56 miles an hour. I couldn't go 55. I couldn't go 57. I could go 56 miles an hour exactly, and it would be nice and smooth as long as I didn't have to stop anywhere. But put on the brakes and.
Sir, do you have any firearms in the car?
Yeah, don't get pulled over then.
Yeah.
So it seems like you've traveled all over for the search for Milsurps. What's been one of your favorite places you've gone for that?
Finland, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah, Finland was really, really cool. And
What'd you end up getting there?
Oh, bunch of Mosin Nagants, mostly.
Shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of a limited selection, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. But that was, I my favorite city on earth is St. Petersburg, Russia. But I can't go there right now. So it's
you said Finland, so we were talking about this today. The Finnish captured Mosin's prices, should they be as high as they are?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Is it because there's
I actually don't.
or?
I don't actually price them very high my own self, but that's why they sell. But so I see people that are offering me these guns, or have them at their table at shows, and they're always very, very impressed with them. Of course, that's why they still have them. But
Yeah, we were looking at some Imperial 91s that were Finn marked, and they were like almost the same price as a regular original Imperial. So it was getting up there.
Yeah, that's correct. They are. The original Imperial ones are usually not in very good condition because they didn't, at that time they didn't have very good discipline as far as they hired a whole bunch of peasants basically who didn't know anything about guns and weren't about to learn. So, but the Finns took very good care of their equipment.
So we've got some questions here from our that we thought of. Our friends gave us some, and some listeners here. So the next one happens to be here. Is it warranted to call Mosin Nagant rifles garbage rods? So, so while we're talking about it, that's a
No,
common name for them.
I know, because they were so cheap and available, and nobody
Like
respected them.
clunky, and no one cared. Yeah, no one gave
Yeah,
them respect.
and they're kind of clunky, but they're made so that the most illiterate peasant could fix it with a damned hammer. They're not very smooth, and they're not very elegant, but they're tools, very good tools. So
on Milsurp prices, are there any particular guns or like categories of guns that you think are consistently like overrated or overpriced?
yeah, just about all the American weapons, I think, are, I mean, this is very, very rare M1 carbine. Well, what are you talking about? They made 7 million of them.
Yeah,
They're not very rare.
they're almost never in bad shape.
Yeah, they're almost never in bad shape either. And, unless they're universals or plain fields or something like that. Ivor Johnson. Those things are just junk, but the U.S. military ones are very, very good quality control and very fun family guns. But are they worth $2,000? I couldn't find a single M1 carbine for less than $2,000 this recent show that I was at.
Yep.
And none of them were selling. And it's not because their prices were too high. It's just because everybody that walked in the door is a cheap bastard.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah. But
Speaking of overrated, there's a unpopular opinion that the Labelle, although the smokeless powder itself was amazing, of course, that it's overpriced and overrated now. What do you think?
it is. It's just because of a historical aspect of it. I think they're overpriced and overrated.
And
Absolutely.
even back then, I guess they were already a tube magazine when there was stacked magazines already out.
Yeah. And most of the Lebel cartridges are very, very pointy bullets, The original Lebel cartridge had a flat nose so that they could, push in a
Yeah,
tube
right.
magazine. But I've actually seen a Lebel that somebody, loaded up and fired one time, and the only one time, and there was a chain fire in the magazine.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, it was very ugly. Very ugly.
Wow.
Tore up the guy's left hand. I had at one point about 80 people that wanted a Lebel on one list. 80 people at the same time.
Yeah, the
Right.
World War I stuff's gotten very popular in the
Oh
past
yeah.
decade or so.
But the Swiss Schmidt Rubens are also that's by far the most accurate, military firearms ever been fielded by anybody.
Oh yeah, those are gorgeously made.
Yeah, totally gorgeous.
So, are you into the neutral aspect though of the Swiss? Like, do you mind that? You don't care that it's not involved in anything,
Oh no, I mean, nobody was stupid enough to invade Switzerland. It was funny. Kaiser went to Switzerland in 1915 and was talking to the Swiss and said, like, if we wanted to take your country, we've got twice as many soldiers as you do. What the hell can you do if we decided to take over? And they said, well, we'll just issue 2 bullets to every man, and you won't have an army. And the
Yeah,
Kaiser went,
Everybody talk
okay.
tough.
You want to come to our shooting festivals where you can see 8-year-old girls outshoot your best marksmen?
So you like the Swiss rifles?
Oh, I love them. Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
So K11 versus K31, because a lot of people go K11 on that one. Where do you go?
Well, I go K31 because it's got a 100 meter zero. And the 31's got a 300-meter zero, which means if you're
Yeah.
trying to shoot a target at 100 yards, you're going to hit about 1.5 feet high.
Yeah,
And
that's a big difference.
yeah, big difference. You're not going to, it's, especially if you're hunting with it, you're just going to have to shoot at the ground in order to hit the animal. So that's not a good idea.
So this relates to one of our other questions we had in the list.
Uh-huh.
So of like the contemporaries that the other powers were contemporary rifles that the other powers were using, like the K98K, the Springfield 1903 03A3, or the Lee Enfield number 4 or Moss 36. Like which of those four do you think would be the best one to have of that time?
Well, the Moss 36 is very, 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 very good rifle. It just, the complaint is that it doesn't hold as many rounds, but that was a very, very good caliber and a very good
Yeah.
cartridge. And they're wonderful shooting rifles, but they're not as good as a Swiss and because they're so crudely. I mean, hey, it doesn't have a safety. Well, it's a gun. Guns aren't safe, So
Yeah, they didn't need one.
yeah, don't need one. Exactly.
I think I like the sights of that the best over the hard to see K98K one and
Yeah.
the 03A3 is pretty good, but I like a peep.
Well, yeah, the 03A3 is a very good weapon, but the original 1903 had 400-yard zero. And what the heck you can you aim at their belt buckle and and you're gonna hit them somewhere. But
Yeah.
that was what it was basically taught. You aim at the belt buckle. Americans tend to shoot about 100 yards is about the maximum. That most
Yeah.
Americans shoot at. And I went to a Schützenfest in Switzerland, and they had 200-meter range. And I thought, wow, this is going to be a breeze. Right? I think I came in 1,360th out of 4,000 competitors. It's like I had little kids shooting better than me. So,
Yep.
but
Yeah, they train a lot.
It's part of the
they do.
life.
It is absolutely, and they didn't care. I had one of my coin dealer colleagues lent me his 1911 Gewehr 11 to compete in that thing, and of course, I can blame unfamiliar rifle and stuff like that, but for my shoddy performance, but basically, I'm going like, well, how am I going to get it to the range? And they said, oh, easy, just take the train. It's no problem. I get on a train with this damn rifle. I'm expecting to get busted right away. And everybody on the train had guns, including little kids and stuff.
Jeez.
And teenagers with machine guns and stuff. And I'm going like, what? Of course, how many shootings was there on that train? None.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Totally different culture.
a totally different culture. Yeah. But yeah, I thought myself a really, high master shot and marksman, and I was not so much, but I did better. I did 3 Schützenfests, and I did better in the second and third one, but still never broke the top 100. And
Do you still do a lot of shooting these days?
not at all, not at all. I haven't shot in probably, I don't know, 12 years or something.
Oh shit.
I know.
You gotta get
I
out
used to
there
go.
again.
I used to go deer hunting every year and stuff like that. My last deer hunt was in 2000 with Dale Earnhardt.
Oh,
So, yeah,
That's another chapter for the book.
yeah,
yeah, right. Earnhardt.
Earnhardt. Yeah, it was a good buddy of mine. It's like, and we used to go deer hunting in Alabama actually, because they have the biggest deer, and he was a little interesting to hunt with because he'd say, "Okay, you take that one." I'd go, "Okay." I'm sitting there sighting it in, and boom, and I go like, "What the hell?" And he goes, "Oh no, I had to do it. I had to do it." You know? Ah,
Are you saying he's competitive? I'm shocked.
yeah, I know. He's the most competitive guy I've ever met.
I bet.
Yeah,
Guess it worked out for him.
Balls of steel.
yeah, no kidding, no kidding. Yeah, I was at the track when he had his accident. I was one of the
Oh,
last people to talk to him, actually.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was horrible because it didn't even look like it was that bad, and it was like,
it did
uh,
not. It did not, but I knew it was that bad. I knew it was.
I knew by the reaction of the people. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, yeah. And so it was Kenny Schrader when he came up to the car and just like looked at him, was shocked and like, "Oh my gosh!" and started signaling. I had to get Desiree out of there, and
Uh,
you know, and I had to get her back
at least,
home. And
at least changes to the sport and the car came from that. That helped prevent other people. Got to
yeah, nobody
take
has
something
died.
positive out of it.
Yeah, nobody has been killed since. I mean, it's
Yep.
a really, really hardcore changes and stuff. And I mean, we're still big NASCAR fans and stuff. I used to have a party, the 4th of July party. They used to have a race on 4th of July every year, and I'd have a pool party after the race, and a lot of drivers and crew people and stuff like that would show up.
Cool. Did you ever get to go in one of the cars?
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, isn't it scary as
Man.
hell?
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh, well, you're a thrill seeker, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I've done a lot of stuff. I'll tell you. I imagine it'd be scary now, but it wasn't back then. If I knew I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself. Let me just put it that way.
Well,
Having too much fun.
you think you're invulnerable back then.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely. At one point I didn't think I was ever going to see 21, and I didn't think I was going to see 31. So
well,
it's just one of them things. But
all right, we'll go to a positive here.
okay.
A full intact mum. That's so positive, isn't it? Do you care about your Arasakas? Do you need them to have a mum? And when you price in is it a big difference? Because everyone jokes that all the values in the mum.
It kind of is. They're right. It is.
And
There's a big difference, and I've got a really beautiful Arasaka right now that almost looks unissued, and it's got perfect mom and everything,
ooh,
but it's one of the last ditch, Hiroshima, Toyo Kagyo type of
right.
arsenal. So doesn't glow in the dark though, so that's good.
Got out there just in time.
Yeah, but
Yeah. So the mum does add the value. So you recognize that.
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And do you get many of rope hole Arasakas? You ever see those? Do those come across? Like I never
I
see them.
I've never had one. No, I've never
Wow.
had one. I've seen them, and I know what they are, but they're not. They're rare for a reason because they don't ever see.
And what would you say the ratio of early 99s with all the bells and whistles, the monopod AA sight and the dust cover versus last ditch?
Well, obviously, I see more last ditch ones. Uh, they're and people discount them as junk, but they're not. They're some of the strongest actions ever made,
Yep.
and definitely not junk. But
Oh
Yep.
yeah,
the,
they're
the
smart.
Marines were told that they were junk.
Look, they look like the last ditch look like shit,
Yeah,
but that's all it is looks.
yeah. Well, so do the Ishef 1943 high wall Mosin Nagants. Those things look like hell. you know, because they're not finished finely at all. You know, they look like chewed by a beaver and stuff, you know, but those things work just as good as any other gun. So it's just it's a misnomer, but of course, you know, the rear sight is like a peep. At least it's a peep, but you know, it's fixed sight and you know, not as utilitarian as a ladder sight, but of course, nobody in the field and actual combat conditions, nobody tinkered around with sights anyway. You know, they were too busy trying to not get shot.
Yeah, just putting down fire.
Yeah. But as far as having all the bells and whistles like the monopod, 90% of the guns with monopods those are fake monopods. That was one of the
Yeah.
first things that they took off and threw out. And the bolt action cover, the metal action cover that slides along with the bolt. Yeah, those things were definitely the first things that got thrown out. So, you know,
So, yeah, to find one that has all, including the dust cover,
that's
is definitely a difficult thing.
real rare. Yeah,
Nice find, yeah.
yeah, real rare. But no, I like Arisakas. I wish there was more ammo available. But you know, those are pretty neat rifles.
Speaking of selling things, is there anything that you've ever regretted selling and not keeping for yourself or selling out of your personal collection?
Mm, no, not really. Not really. There's a couple things that I probably would have kept if I could have, but you know, they went to good homes, so I'll get them again. Put it that way.
Yeah.
That's one thing I don't mind. I don't mind selling stuff. I get to play with it. I get to take pictures of it and all this kind of stuff. And I
You
still
used to
like
get to shoot it,
the
right?
what?
You used to get to shoot it too.
I used to get to shoot them too. Yeah, but I just don't have that kind of time anymore. You know.
You must get a lot of CMP flipped guns set your way. What do you think about
Sure
these
do.
guys going on, getting the CMP guns and then flipping them right away, trying to get twice the money for them?
Well, I think it's it's not a good fit. It really isn't. For a long time, you know, we had a guy that was heading up CMP, and he really discouraged that. You know, and you know, initially you got to buy one thing in your lifetime, and now you can buy a dozen Garands a year. So
Yeah.
you know, but Oris used to, you know, he used to ask people to report whenever you know you saw somebody with a CMP at a show table, and you know just write down the serial number and let them know, and who it was and what it was, and if they were selling a CMP gun that they just got and were flipping it, they wouldn't be able to buy any more.
Yeah, the whole point of the CMP was to give people the personal gun for their collection, right? To
Right,
like learn shooting and enjoy shooting.
right, and that still is their purpose. But you know they were worried about Captain Crunch. You know the where they were sending all these 45 pistols into the chopper and shredding them. You know, instead of selling them, they were worried that they were going to do that with Garand's and they were going to abolish the CMP. So instead of one per lifetime, you could buy two a year and then four a year, and now I think it's 12 a year, and because they don't want to be obsoleted. You know, but they didn't have enough people at two a year. You know, they didn't have enough people that wanted them. You know, they weren't selling enough to merit their existence, basically. So, I mean, I'm not I'm sort of opposed philosophically to flipping Garands and stuff like that, I've never done it. Every single Garand I've ever bought, I still own. But except for that M1D sniper that I got in a lottery. I bought it in 1998. You couldn't hit the barn, the side of a barn from inside the damn barn with that thing, you know? It was beautiful. It was beautiful looking. But with a scope and with me shooting it at 100 yards, I'd get like a 12 to 14 inch group. That's a pattern. It's not a group.
Wow.
And with
Yeah.
open sights, I could get like maybe 2 inches.
I
at 100.
don't hear them listed when people talk about accurate sniper rifles.
No, they're not. I mean, I saw them in Vietnam. They had them in Vietnam, but they're not. I think it's a very, very weak scope and stuff like that. You know, just not a very good rifle. In my opinion, I love the M1 Garand. You know, I got one of my finest weapons is the ugliest damn thing you've ever seen in your life. It's a Danish return Garand, and it looks like it had been drugged down thrown out of the back of a pickup truck down a gravel road. You know, it just got no finish on it. The stock's all beat up. It's just as ugly as can be. And if I take it out to the range, I used to take it out to the range along with about 20 other weird things, you know. And but I'd take it, and they would every single time anybody saw it, they say that is the ugliest Garand I've ever seen in my life, ever, 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 ever. It had a VAR barrel, Danish-made barrel, you know. And I'd say, yeah, well, watch this, and I slap a clip in there, and I'd fire it off, rapid fire, boom, 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 you know. And they'd say, well, you only hit the target once. And I'd say, yeah. Go down and look at the target. And that thing is like, it was zeroed in like a laser. You know,
Wow.
it absolutely was phenomenal. It still is. I'm
So
sure
it looked like just one hole from that far away?
yeah,
Wow.
from that one ragged hole from that far away, but you could see all these little Mickey Mouse ears in the hole, on the edges of the hole. But yeah, it just, and I just couldn't miss with that thing. But it was ugly. It still is ugly. Very ugly. I like it because it's ugly.
Yeah, like when they've been there and done that.
Yeah, but that M1D I had was the most very, very pretty, absolutely perfect looking, perfect. And I ended up selling it because it was just couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And my listing, I said, this thing is beautiful, but it cannot hit the broadside of a barn. And I said that right out. And I imagine, I think the guy that bought it tweaked it some and worked on it some and got it to where he could actually shoot it, but not me. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to have a bunch of CMP papered Garands here in a little bit after Tulsa. And yeah, and they're going to be some very nice ones. They're from a private collection. And yeah.
Do you ever mention JFK or Oswald when you're selling an M38 Carcano? Just curious.
If it's got the Hollywood scope on it, and we've had a couple of them, I have mentioned it, yeah. And I guess you know the ones that are close in serial number to the one that Oswald used, and I'm sure he did use it.
All right, so you use it in a specific way. If it's a clone, you'll have to mention it, or if some people just mention it if it's a Carcano in general.
No, I
You
don't
know,
do that.
a cavalry Carcano, and they're saying, "Oh, JFK was shot by one of these."
I get asked that occasionally, and I'll agree that it was. You know, my oldest daughter, I gave her when she was 8 years old. I gave her a Carcano, and by the time she was 11, she could prove that Oswald could have done it easy. So to
Yeah.
anyone, You know, she loves that Carcano. Still does.
Yeah, they get a bad rap, but they're not too bad.
No. They're clunky. You know,
Yep.
and you know, the in block clip is not fun to lose or mess around with, but they're very, very accurate rifles.
And like a lot of people say, the clips were meant to fall out the bottom and not be used again, and we're using them all at over and over and over at home,
Yeah.
bending the lips, and
Exactly. Yeah.
so part of it's our fault.
I had a big crate full of Carcano clips that I found in our warehouse a couple years ago, and I put them on eBay. And oh well, man, I sold the hell out of those things. I didn't expect to sell very many of them, but yeah, I mean, I was selling 10 at a time. You know, like I think it was like 10 for $60 or something. You know.
Yeah, they sell.
Yeah, they sell. And now I can't, you know, now I just bought a bunch of Carcanos. I don't have any clips, so I guess I
So,
do. I've got some 735 ammo. They're on clips, so I'm gonna probably take the clips off because the clips are worth more than the ammo is. So probably sell them with a clip. You know, I always try to do that anyway.
You
So
have to tape it to the gun because I've heard a lot of RTI gives away clips with their guns, and they just throw it in the box, and it gets thrown out. So
oh no, Deb just rolled her eyes.
so you got to tape it there.
Oh yeah. Or we'll actually put it in the action. I'll put a piece of tape underneath where the
Perfect.
clip will fall out, you know, just so that they know where it is and stuff like that. But yeah, no, we've seen. I mean, I've seen so many guns that came from Century with the bolts sticking out of the boxes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, never happens with us. In fact, we get criticized sometimes because it took like 25 or 30 minutes to unpack this darn rifle I got from you.
You guys are definitely great rappers. You know, there's they call it the UPS duffel cut, is when you just throw the gun in the box and it shows up in three pieces.
Oh, I know.
But yours are really good. Yours are perfect.
Well, and we've got good UPS dedicated drivers and stuff that pick up our stuff, and they make sure nothing happens to it between here and our center, at least, you know. But they just don't throw it on a conveyor belt or anything. Yeah, and we special order boxes that are really very high strength boxes. So
Oh, that's good.
you know,
So the barrel's not poking out the top. Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. Oh no, that doesn't happen with us. Yeah, Deb is definitely a professional when it comes to packing and stuff. But yeah, we had everything that was on this last list. You know, was out of it was on the list by Monday, and what we didn't get out Monday, we got out Tuesday. And everything on the list, and I think all but 2 or 3 things sold. So
All right. I think what we should do here is we got this speed round, and it's
okay.
just a list of yes or no, this or that type questions. And well, the intent is to quickly go through the list and you give your opinion. Real easy.
Okay.
You'll see. So Kelly and I will alternate down this list. Kelly, you ready?
I am.
All right. Cock on open or cock on close?
Open.
Okay.
Good.
Turn bolt or a straight pull?
Ooh.
Depends on what it is. You know, if it's a Schmidt-Rubin straight pull, fantastic. You know, the Austrian Mannlicher, not so much.
So a Swiss straight pull will win over a turn bolt.
Oh, well, no.
He's going turn bolt then. All right.
All right. I like it.
Blued receivers or in the white receivers?
In the white receivers.
Ooh.
Good choice. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. So for the
Interesting.
Enfield number 4 bayonet, the spike or the blade?
Blade.
Yeah. I don't like many spikes.
Oh man, I used to get the spike bayonets. I used to buy for 9 pence in England. They use them for tent stake.
It would be a good tent
Seriously,
stake.
That's funny.
they make great tent stakes. You know, you just hammer into the ground, and then you've got a little
Right.
loop to tie rope through. It's great.
A handle and a loop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stock preference: finger grooves or no finger grooves?
Good question. I'm a finger groove guy, definitely.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I am as
Not
well.
don't have finger grooves, but you know they're that's because they were lazy.
All right. Another stock one. Darker finishes like a walnut or lighter finishes like a beech?
Walnut.
Yeah. Something about the light ones, even though the Swiss ones do look all right in the light colored wood.
Yeah, I don't understand that part of it at all. People don't, people, if they would much rather have a walnut stock than a beech stock. But a beech stock means the gun has not seen as much service, and
Yeah.
therefore it's got a much longer lifespan than walnut stock. And
Yes. A lot of people buy the history.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they ran out of walnut. Bottom line, they cut down every friggin' walnut tree in Europe.
True. Yeah.
They did.
Stripper clip fed or M block fed?
Um,
Basically, do you like the Mannlicher action? Like it could be very
yeah,
finicky, but
that's stripper clip.
All right, let's see. For front sights, you prefer it with the protector ears on the side or no protector ears?
No protector ears.
Okay.
no ears.
No ears.
Whoa. All right, rear sights now. Do you like that little peep or a tangent or even a ladder?
Peep, especially if
Peep.
it's close to your eye,
Yeah.
The Japanese Arisakas had a peep sight, but they were like halfway down the barrel, and it was very hard to peep. And as far as the front sight with the 2 ears, it's so easy under stress to mistake one of those ears for the front sight and just to be shooting wonky. You know,
Yeah, I can
Yep.
see that.
yeah, it used to happen a lot with the Finns. That was their biggest complaint with the Finns is that they would sight with they were wondering why they were missing so badly.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, under stress.
All right, I think we've got a few more. So, like a Mauser style flag safety versus any other type of rifle safety, like the Japanese knob or the Enfield, just kind of thumb switch.
I flag safety.
It's pretty simple. I kind of like the simple Enfield style, like toggle switch thing. But
Well, the problem with that is that, you would fire around and that toggle switch could get moved back. Any
yeah,
kind
I
of,
can see that.
and then your bolt's frozen up and you can't, under stress of battle, you wouldn't be able to figure it out.
Interesting.
Yeah, it frees your gun up. And a lot of guys, especially Aussies, complained about that with their smelly rifles. So,
Okay, what's worse? A Milsurp rifle with a mismatched bolt or an all matching example, but in a cut down sporterized stock?
cut down.
I hate those.
Yeah. A lot of the bolts are mismatched because, they, especially with the bringbacks, they put you on a ship to send you home and they made you take the bolt out and throw it in the bucket.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they promised you'd be able to get your bolt back, but bottom line is that, when you get back to home and all these families are sitting there waving flags and jumping up and down because their son and their loved ones coming home, and you're trying to get off the ship, the captain will tell you, either grab a bolt and get off my ship, or don't grab a bolt, but get off my damn ship. Sick of looking at you guys. So you just grab a bolt and hopefully it fit the gun that you had. But whether you could look through to find serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, it didn't matter. It really didn't matter.
And
Yep.
do you ever try to save sporterized stocks, like sporterized guns, and restore them? Do you think people should do that, or
No,
you never try? Too
no.
much money and pain in the
Yeah,
ass.
it's a money pit. It really is.
Yeah,
I mean,
it sucks when you see like a G3340 cut down. Because you see it's the original stock, and
yeah.
there's nothing you could do to, you know.
No saving it. Yeah.
Well, a lot of times, they would double cut the stock and they'd lose the front part of it and probably lose the barrel bands and stuff like that, because, there's little pieces, parts flopping around, and that stuff can
Yeah.
get thrown out, and so
I always think about it when I see a sporterized gun, but I talk myself out of it.
yeah, it's a good plan. I had somebody just recently try to sell me a sporterized gun. They were trying to tell me it wasn't sporterized. I said, well, what about these 3 uh, drilled and tapped holes in the damned receiver? You think those were originally there? They're going like, oh, well, yeah, I thought that's the way they were. No, sorry, I ain't
Funny.
buying it. I don't want it no matter what. If it was your deceased husband's gun and you're a widow, I'd buy it from you. I'd probably pay you $50 for it, and I'd have to probably pay somebody $50 to take it. So,
Yeah.
you
Those are
know,
no value in those, sadly. But yeah, can have fun with them. All right. I think we got, what do we got? Some this or that.
This or that firearms.
All right. So we'll start with the US 1903 or the 1917 rifle.
Ooh.
17.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Heck
Good
yeah.
choice.
How about the Gewehr 98 versus the 1903 Springfield?
Um.
Let's say
Well,
you're a soldier. From a soldier's aspect, I guess it's a big thing to drag around.
they're both fired in at 400 meters, so there's not a whole lot of difference in the shootability of it. But the Springfield would be a lot easier to fudge.
Do you like that sight on that? Complicated.
Yeah,
Yeah, many point. Yeah, some people just can't stand it. It's a love or hate relationship.
yeah. It's kind of like on the Lake Crags too. They just had the very very weird wonky sight, and
I guess the other one has a roller coaster. I guess so. It's
yeah,
crazy too.
yeah. The other one has a roller coaster. So I imagine if you're laying in a ditch, the roller coaster would be easier to adjust than the Springfield site.
All right, we got a couple more. The Carabiner 98K or the Springfield 03A3.
03A3.
Does have very good
Ooh.
sights.
Yeah.
All right. Last one of these, the G43 or the M1 Garand or whatever.
Oh, M1 Garand every single any day. The G43 is, like very very over complicated. You try and field strip the thing, and you can lose parts real easy, and then you've got nothing but a club. Really.
I do like shooting the G43, but the M1 is the M1.
Yeah, it is.
All right. That was kind of speedy for the speed round for us. You know,
Okay.
we usually are worse than that. So that's
Deviate a lot.
yeah. But we were talking about some of the FUD lore before, like the M1. I think we mentioned the M1 ping or something. So we always like to run by with everyone a couple of these things, and you could just say if it's true shit or bullshit. And like, for example, the M1 Garand ping. Do you think that the enemy was notified of soldiers were empty and then charged them?
No. Totally not true.
Or what about that the soldiers took the empties and banged it to make a ping noise to get
I heard
soldiers
that.
to run out?
I heard that, but I really don't believe it.
Yeah, too loud to hear anything like that.
Yeah.
All right. For Japanese rifles, the Arasaka specifically, there's always the myth that so many of them missing the dust cover because the soldiers would take them off and throw them away because they made noise on the rifle and they're trying to be sneaky.
Now that's absolutely true.
Whoa, shit.
Okay.
No, it's true.
Well, was it that they thought they would be heard, or they just thought they were a clunky part of it? Because it is a little clunky to use.
It's a clunky to use. It's really, really hard when you're trying to reinsert the bolt to get in the raceway and everything. No, they didn't like it. It was too noisy. It made a lot of rattling sounds and stuff like that, and they threw them away. Absolutely.
Cool.
Yep.
So we touched on the mums for Japanese rifles. So does the rifle having a mum mean it was captured in the field? Because most of them were scrubbed at the end of the war.
That's right. Yeah, captured. Most of them were captured in the field. Yeah, and sent home. At the end of the war, it was it was MacArthur that said to grind them off or deface them so that the emperor wouldn't be um, insulted, so there wouldn't be surrendering the emperor's guns. But
Yeah, I think I've seen some documentation on that.
yeah,
It's hard to come by, but yeah.
essentially every single soldier, and I know this to be true, every single soldier that did any kind of duty in Japan after the war were marched to a warehouse, and they said you can either pick up a rifle or you can pick up a samurai sword, but not both, and take home for a souvenir. Because
Oh.
the rifles, they didn't have any ammo. MacArthur ordered all the ammo to be dumped in Tokyo Bay. So there's still a lot of ammo in the bottom of Tokyo Bay, but
Wow. That's
but
where they all went.
yeah, that's where it all went. But they didn't want the populace rising up against the conquerors, and being able to have rifles that they were kind of used to having with
Oh.
ammo, But they had the warehouses just had these things stacked to the freaking ceiling with Arisakas, and you could take one home. And sometimes, occasionally, if you found a Japanese pistol, a Nambu, you could take it home as well. But that's where most of them ended up. Almost 95% of every Japanese Arisaka and 100% of all Nambus came from in that fashion.
Oh.
But they
That's
were.
a great little bit of history that comes along with it.
Yeah, I've talked to
Yeah.
many soldiers. In fact, I served with a bunch of soldiers that did post-war Japan duty, and they all, that's exactly what they said to a man.
Cool.
Yeah, and the dumb ones took the Arisakas. Those
Yep.
samurai swords. They weren't.
Yeah.
They weren't very fancy looking, but boy, they sure sell for a lot of money now.
Yep. I seen them. Oh my god. Even the cheap ones aren't cheap.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they're big money.
they're big money. A lot of them were, hand-me-downs from generation to generation to generation. It was just amazing.
All right. True shit or bullshit? The concentration camp made concentration camp German guns were the workers sabotaged them to blow up for the
Some of them,
Germans.
some of them did. Yes, that's true.
Ooh.
Especially the G-43s.
I bet a lot of people probably took a lot of opportunities to do something. And we learned on our last show that the workers would work slowly and make mistakes, which was one way to screw things up.
Right.
So they slowed production.
Yeah, that happened at Mauthausen. That was a concentration camp in Austria that Steyr basically basically made Steyr Daimler Puch rifles. But Mauthausen, they did a very, very slow walk kind of thing. And tried to put them together wonky so that they would fail inspection. They
That's
figured they weren't going to live that long anyway. So
That's ballsy.
All right. Back onto the Japanese rifles. There's the myth that in desperation, U.S. soldiers would sometimes use 7.7 Japanese ammo in their M1 Garands.
No, I haven't heard that one, and I doubt if it could be true. Really, no, never heard that one. I guess that might be able to work.
Yeah, it is shorter, and the
It's
bullet's
shorter.
close.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen guys shoot 308 in a 30-06 and wonder why the straight walled case came out. But
Yep.
so the shorter thing could possibly work, and the 7.7 Japanese is 311. It would Garand hold it.
Well, a friend of ours partially tried it with a spent case, and the case got stuck, but it was pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, a fresh
The
casing might work.
spent case was probably blown out a little bit, though.
Yeah, that's the problem.
If I had any 7.7 Japanese, I don't think I do, but if I had any 7.7 Japanese, I just might try it my own damn self.
Yeah, I need to try it one day.
Yeah.
That we definitely have to try it.
Yeah. It's plausible.
All right, I like it. This I heard at there's some new FUD lore I heard at the KC show. We all met up at the KC Missouri Arms show, and I heard someone say, "Be careful looking at the German stuff. After 1943, there's poor quality control." Now, that's got to be too early, right, for the Germans? What do you think?
Yeah, that's too early.
The guns you've seen, the 44s, are they that bad?
No, they're not bad at all. No, I mean they had really, really good quality control throughout. Throughout right to the end of the war. Until they started running out of pieces parts. But and that was right at very, very last couple of weeks. But they had very, very good tolerances and very good workmanship.
Yeah, that's good.
That is FUD lore, and I've been to the Kansas City show. I think I've done 3 of those, but not recently. I mean, sheesh. But
it's from my neck of the woods. That was the most amazing show I've ever been to by tenfold.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I had a swell time. We went for multiple days, and it was great.
Yeah. It didn't turn out, because I do shows to buy rather than sell stuff, and so I wasn't able to buy enough at those shows to continue going, but but I've been to 28 years worth of Tulsa shows, so obviously I can buy enough to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, that one, if any of them, for sure. All right, so that was our list of FUD lore, truth or bullshit. So, do you have any other good ones you've heard over the years of rumors or FUD lore regarding certain rifles or pistols?
Not that I can recall offhand. No.
All right.
So we hinted earlier that Dennis had a little wild era in his life, somewhere between shooting coyotes and making colorful websites. And with a little looking around, we found the Trip Hammer site here. So Dennis, let me reveal he was in a early 70s rock band, and based on the photos I'm seeing, he was all in. He was a full rock star. Would you care to fill us in on the fate of Trip Hammer and what's up with your clothes? I have to ask.
Okay, let me look. I'm back at I was in the front room.
You saw it? You see you?
Yes.
All right. I need to know, was this the style back then, or were you making a point, or what? Does the wife approve of this outfit?
Oh, absolutely.
You still have those pants?
Yes.
That's funny. So,
no.
Great.
uh-oh, he's back on that computer.
Pants, 26 waist.
26 waist is these pants. Did you put the heart on the pants yourself? Uh-oh, I didn't get an answer. I need to know if he decorated it himself. It looks like a
Okay, hold
custom
on.
job.
I don't know what happened.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said yes.
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 Did you hear me?
Yes, yes. Okay. He did do the custom X. So what we're looking at is he's in
Sure. Those are 26 waist pants. So
20. Oh my gosh. So yeah, you we're definitely living the rock star life. So what happened to Trip Hammer here? What was this? This is chapter 7 in the book. So what?
well, I actually was going to college at the time at the University of Missouri in Columbia, and and I was in several bands at the same time, but I think this is the summer of '73. Oh yeah, there we go. That's me and my hair, and
Oh yeah, there.
yeah, that's I'm playing guitar, so that's
You still have that guitar? That's like a jazz master or something?
it's a jazz master. You're right.
I
No,
know
I
my
don't.
guitars.
It was stolen.
No.
Yeah, it was stolen. I have a jazz master to replace it, but it doesn't look like that. But yeah, it was a.
So this was the style, is what we're going with.
Yeah, well, I guess that was our style. It
No, this is what a lot of these bands looked like back then. It was the long hair and the
yeah, it was kind of glam.
glam, the stomachs out. Well, I want to use this song right here for like an intro or something. This is a rock.
Good.
Welcome to Milsurp HQ. Yeah. That's right, Kelly. What's up?
Yeah, that's not me singing. That's actually not even me playing. That's a different guitar player.
What?
In 1970.
And the other one was this one. You playing this one?
No, that was 1970. I was in Vietnam then.
Well, this is like the Vietnam song here. It sounds like
Yeah.
the movie. So yeah, you so you got to give us at least one wild rock star moment.
Okay.
You guys have had something crazy happen. You destroy a hotel room. You light a car on fire and push it off a bridge.
Nah, we didn't do stuff like that, and hell, I didn't even do drugs back in the day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're blowing up the image here.
I know, but everybody else did. I still have that guitar.
Wow.
the pitchfork guitar, it actually
Pitchfork.
spit fire out of the tines of the pitchfork. And
Oh, that's pretty rad.
yeah, there was a little
Oh.
apparatus on the back of it, and
Cool.
I used to jump on a little mini trampoline, and
Oh, so you guys like performance.
oh yeah, completely. There was just we had a heck of a time. That particular guitar had a little um, a thing on the back of it that hooked onto my belt buckle, and I could spin it around like a windmill, kind of, you know.
Oh, I
And,
hear you. That's awesome.
and we played a show with ZZ Top, and they said like, "Well, man, that's really cool."
Wait,
And then
don't they do that?
yeah, after they
What?
played that show with us, sure.
The fuck?
No.
You heard it here, everyone. This is ZZ Top stole it from Dennis.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. No. I did it first. I had
That's so funny.
a wireless thing that I actually designed my own self. A wireless, so I didn't have to use a cord, and it fit into the back of my guitar. And I had a little flamethrower that shot flames out.
Holy
And
shit.
yeah, and then it
Yeah.
spun around, and it was all.
Wait, you have any? Is this on video anywhere? Can we see this?
This is way before video.
Ah,
So
Dang it.
yeah, I know. But yeah.
Man, that sounds wild.
and I'm dying to hear Pan's a president, and this one's not working. So you got to put that one back on.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Panzer President was a very, very interesting song, complete with Sieg Heils and stuff.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Oh man.
I saw something about it.
Yeah.
So who else are you play any famous venues or with any other famous dudes besides the stealing ZZ Top?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I played a lot of very big venues. We played Madison Square Garden several times,
Whoa!
and
Ooh.
toured all over.
Wow,
Toured all over the U.S. We played
that's
with
awesome.
a lot of different bands. Played shows with Styx and Black Oak, Arkansas, and I actually met my wife, Deborah. We met at a concert called the Ozark Music Festival in 1974, and we played the first day of the festival, or 3 days festival, and our opening act was a band that nobody ever heard of called Eagle, and
Eagle,
yeah, Eagles, yeah,
Eagles, actually.
yeah.
Hmm.
It wasn't the Eagles, it's just
Wait,
Eagles.
Dennis, if you tell me now that you went up to that Don Henley and said, "Hey, put an S on it," you're gonna blow my mind.
No, it was Eagles, but it was not the Eagles,
Okay.
Yeah, but they were a country band, more or less, country rock band at the time. And we played also like with Black Oak, Arkansas, and Ted Nugent, a whole bunch of bands like that, um, Leonard Skinner. We played a bunch of shows with Leonard Skinner.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really
I
cool.
see you on the list here on Wikipedia with Skinnerd and Jeff Beck, Ted Nugent, yeah, Marshall Tucker Band, America, Blue Oyster Cult,
Yeah.
Just Eagles. Yeah.
Smith,
And Trip Hammer.
and Trip Hammer. There you are. You're right there with them.
Yeah.
Bob Seger.
Yep. Bob Seger played. Yeah.
All right. So, did anything happen these days? Was anyone did anything amaze you from these guys, or just like you said, you don't get amazed by famous people?
Not really. No. I mean, I get amazed by music and stuff like that. Oh yeah, that was the Ozark Music
Yeah.
Festival. Yeah, Deb we're actually She was the uh, what was the name of that thing? She actually was a trainee on the soundboard for the
Oh,
sound company, and
Okay.
yeah,
cool.
and I walked up, and apparently my first 3 words to her were "Please be 18." So you know,
What an intro.
yeah, what an intro, yeah. But
Oh, what a ladies' man.
yeah, and we she said, "No, I'm not 18 yet, but I will be." Okay, see you then.
Eventually.
But yeah, we got together about 40 years later, and but we, you know,
Oh, so how did the band end though at this point? You're playing with these festivals and you're playing with ZZ Top Steel, and so what
well, the
happens?
band the band actually just kind of fizzled out. Um, I basically graduated from college. The keyboard player, Bannister Tarleton, is still a performer, and he's has like 23 or 24 albums out and stuff.
Cool.
But he's still plugging along.
Cool.
I moved to Los Angeles, and I brought him out to LA to join a band that I was putting together out there. And it was the case of not a big fish in a little pond, but a minnow in the ocean kind of thing. He was freaked out about it, and so he went back to Missouri so that he could be a big fish in a little pond. And and that's where he still lives. We just visited him
Oh
a
well.
couple months ago. So,
Well,
but
you all have stories for life at this point.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
And for the book.
yeah. And for the book, come on, there's
Yeah,
nothing.
I don't know. I've been putting a little list here, and I got the Swedish Mausers. We have the mustache, the Vietnam stories, the airplane stuff. You
Yeah,
know, Dale Earnhardt. We got a lot of things here.
well, that's funny.
Oh, don't copyright strike me if I use your song for one of our intros.
Oh
The wor-
no, hell no, I wouldn't.
the world is an igloo.
Yeah, the world is an egg. That's not one of mine anyway. I didn't play on that song, but
All
that's
right.
that's really a very very primitive form of that band. But that's just
And
that was a album that we put out called Retrospective. That is had a bunch of songs on it. There's a bunch.
Can you get it online?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, all right. I'll definitely get it then
Yeah,
for the
it's
for the
pretty
collection.
interesting. Not very good technically, but some things are really pretty good, and some things are just you know out of this world.
No, you definitely fit the time. I went through all of them, and you guys are definitely products of the time.
Yeah, definitely.
You fit perfect.
Yeah, but I still play guitar. When Deb and I got together, my Deb's husband passed away. He had a heart attack, and my wife Deborah Desiree, my wife Desiree had ovarian cancer, and she lasted a lot longer than anybody thought she would. But she finally passed away. But before she did, she basically, without my knowledge or consent, she signed me up for Match.com, and she wrote my profile and everything,
Oh my gosh.
complete with pictures and stuff, and told me that I wouldn't be doing good on my own. So she wanted me to find somebody, and so that I could have a happy life. And Deb and I basically
Sis.
kept crossing paths on this thing, and she didn't recognize me, but she recognized my guitar, and so she basically sent me a message in private message and said like, hey, what kind of guitar is that? It's a really nerdy thing, and what what kind of guitar is that, and finish and all this kind of stuff, and if you'd like to answer, if you like to answer me, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too, but here's my phone number. And then her phone rang about 3 minutes later, and I said, "You said call." So we
That
started
was
talking.
it.
We
Just
started
hooked.
talking to each other, and we discovered, that we actually knew each other a long time ago. And we got together. I had about 12 guitars when we got together, and now I have about 85 guitars, and she's bought me most of them, almost all of them.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So that you probably have like like we have gun rooms all set up. You have 4 times as many guitars as guns, so you have a guitar room.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I've got guitars. The front room where I'm at right now, there's about 20 guitars in it.
Yeah.
And then
Cool.
we have a music room. I always had a music room, but can't get in it right now. Kind of, there's too many guitars in the way. But yeah, when our very first date, she shows up with a guitar case in her hand at a restaurant, and I said, what you got there? And she goes, "Oh, this is your guitar." I said, "What do you mean my guitar?" She goes, "Well, it's a guitar I'm going to give you, And if
Wait, on your first date, you said?
yeah, first time, yeah,
Wow, that's a
yeah,
good first date.
mhm.
Wow.
And
What a gift.
it's a Gibson Les Paul that Joe Walsh gave to her, and
Is
yeah,
that all it is?
yeah, she did some session work with Joe, and he gave her that guitar in '98. So yeah, but it's really
Oh my gosh.
beautiful Les Paul, and it's but she just brought it in just nonchalantly. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
here. If we decide we hate each other and you never want to see me again, that's fine. This is your guitar. It's just
I mean, it's tough to beat that move. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
Can't say no to that.
That beats Please V18 all to hell. Yeah, but yeah, this rack's got a bunch of Les Pauls and ES 335s and my Jazz Master, a couple Stratocasters, and a couple SGs that.
so the band stopped, but you haven't stopped. So
No,
are you playing out publicly and stuff?
no, I haven't. I played, guest starred with some people occasionally, but no, we haven't. Deb's father's 93 years old, and he's been a professional musician since he was 15, and he still tours. Actually,
That's it. Wow.
so but and
Do you record at home? Anything?
no, not we have the capability of doing it, but we haven't had much of a chance to stay home and do anything like that. But I still keep my chops and play basically keep my chops up and play quite a bit, like
Right.
maybe
That's
an
so good.
hour a day or something, but yeah, the room I'm in right now has got about I guess about 55 guitars in it, and a bunch of amps, stacks of Marshalls and stuff like that.
Stacks.
Yeah,
Yeah, forgetting the Milsurps.
I
yeah,
know.
Guitar is a real treasure here.
yeah. I figured I could do that. If this if the coin thing didn't work out, or if the Milsurp thing doesn't work out, I could still
That was
go
next.
go play on cruise ships or something.
Ha.
Good retirement there, yeah.
I've done that actually, but
It's
what
not a
the hell?
bad gig sometimes for a young kid
Yeah, yeah. We're old guys.
or an old guy that's looking for something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Free cruise.
But
Right.
All right, so what we're going to do here is we have what's called the Wheel of Milsurp. On it is a bunch of things like, do I buy this or that, make this trade, would you rather? So there's a bunch of prompts. All you have to do is decide which is the better option of the options. Simple.
Okay.
All right. I'll spin. There's my real wheel.
Wow.
And it lands on make this trade. Okay. For this category, you just have to decide whether or not the person should make this trade involving 2 mediocre Milsurp firearms. So,
All right.
so person A, let's say he's a previous customer. He calls you up for a little advice. He has a Lee Enfield number 4 rifle, but it's been forced into a jungle number 5 configuration, jungle carbine.
Right.
So you know it's fake, but it's of number 4. And he has a bayonet also. Person B wants to trade for that gun and bayonet with his, which we talked about before, his home-assembled Lee Harvey Oswald-inspired, scoped but fake M38 Carcano, but it's in 7.35, so it's not the 6.5, and it's not even the right sight. It's a repro sight that's not even the same optic ordnance sight or whatever he used.
Right.
So you think that person A should make this trade for the Lee Harvey gun or keep his Enfield, his fake Enfield?
Keep his Enfield.
See, I see he is an Enfield guy. I told you.
Yeah. It's a quick answer.
So what is it? You don't like the Carcano with the scope on it?
In 735, yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, I think I'd answer the same. Keep the Enfield.
Yeah, it is a number 4 still, even though it's smashed up. Well, how do you feel about that? Like, you'll just resell it and say this is obviously a number 4, not a number 5?
I wouldn't buy it, but you know.
Okay.
I've
You
got
wouldn't even buy
people.
it.
I've got people that will buy stuff like that if it's cheap. You know, it's just like. But I'm not going to put it on our website because, no.
Got to keep the quality stuff on there.
Yeah.
All right. We just got a couple more things here. We're almost done here. We some of the stuff we touched upon actually. We if you're gonna in the future sell accessories or go into ammo or militaria of any kind.
No, definitely not ammo because we stopped selling ammo 20 years ago for a reason. It's too much of a pain in the ass to ship.
Yeah,
And
it gets heavy.
And the military. I've been to like a lot of the shows type of things, and you know, like 90% of what I see is fake. So
Yeah, that's a whole market of fake people faking shit. And you figuring out what's not fake.
yeah,
Too many landmines.
too many
Yeah.
landmines. Yeah, not interested in that at all. You know. And
But for your own personal collection, do you need the accessories? Do you need the slings, the correct bayonet, the muzzle covers, the holsters for the pistols?
Not really. I mean, if I bought them with them, that's, you know, when I buy guns, you know, I don't take slings off, and I don't, you know, like take the cleaning rods. I had this guy that offered me about 35 Arisakas, and I gave him a really fair offer on them. And he says, "Well, let me think about it." This was a show in Fort Worth, and he said, "Let me think about it." And then about an hour later, he came over and he says, "Okay, I've decided to accept your offer." You know, I walk over there, and he had taken the cleaning rods out of every single rifle.
What?
And I said,
What?
"Hey, where's the cleaning rods?" And he goes, "Oh, I sold those for $75 a piece. That's how I can afford to take your offer." And I said, "I don't want them. I'm not going to buy them at all. I wouldn't buy them for a dollar a piece. You know, absolutely not." And so I wouldn't buy a single one of them from him. Even the ones there were several and never had cleaning rods. I wouldn't buy them from him at all. Nothing. You know, for doing that. You know, it's stupid.
Yeah, that's a little shady.
Yeah. And I've had people take slings off and No, I don't do it. If I buy it with a cleaning rod and a sling and front side hood, and that's how I'm going to sell it. So, but no, I to answer your question, if I have if I bought it and it has a holster with it, then I'm not gonna, I wouldn't break them up, but I damn sure am not gonna, search for a holster to fit that thing.
A lot of our friends are big on like, oh, I still need a bayonet for my O3 and my
Yeah,
Craig and and just trying to complete the package, I guess.
I don't have a problem with that, but I just, we don't sell bayonets by themselves. If it comes with a rifle, it gets sold with a rifle. So, it's just, even though some of the things are, worth more, the bayonet's worth more than the gun. It's
Yeah.
at one point, when I had a bunch of SVT 40s, I had a bunch of bayonets too, and the bayonets were selling for more than the SVT 40 was. So
Wow.
it was kind of weird, but nah.
I meant to ask you before when we were talking about the business, but if you see markings that you don't know, do you just look at your resources and then just assume, like, do you have outside people? Do you send it to any other people?
Not
'Cause
usually.
there's a lot of people that have like the library full, the complete library of everything Milsurp that probably could find 90% of the things you're looking for,
Yeah, and I've got a really massive library my own self,
Nice.
really do, and I've got basically every book for just about everything. I've got a whole shelf of nothing but books on 1911 Colts,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. So you can find whatever you need. Sounds like.
Yeah, so
absolutely,
when you don't know, you have to just sit there and go through?
yeah. But I've already gone through these books, and like I said, I pretty much absorb the knowledge pretty fully. So there's not a whole lot that I'll see that I don't recognize or don't know. But
Cool.
there's so much minutiae about things like for instance the M1 carbine. There was a book that came out and by Larry, what the hell was his name? He came out with a book on M1 carbines where he said this is the parts that go on this M1 carbine and stuff like that. And but it
Larry
was wrong.
Ruth?
Larry Root, yeah, but it was wrong. He
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah,
wrong info out
a
there.
lot of wrong info, and but I knew guys who actually took their M1 carbines apart and went and looked for the correct parts to make them all 100% correct when they were already
Oh,
100% correct.
Oh
We're
man.
that's
just
bad.
that's just, that's crazy. But there's so much minutiae out there. But I've got about just on
Yeah,
M1 Garans, I probably got a foot and a half worth of books on just the M1 Garans, even though I know them like the back of my hand pretty much. But
right.
you
There's
know,
always a small little thing.
yeah.
Did you ever get your hands on any of the gas trap? We just saw one go for. It's in the the latest Pullet auction.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've had about a dozen of them over the years.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had about a dozen great gas traps. And I've had probably 25 or 30 that used to be gas traps but got converted uh, into the modern rifle, but they real early serial numbers and stuff, but
I know we're joking about the book a lot, but what about? Did you ever have a desire to write some sort of gun-related book about
um,
anything?
no, I wrote a bunch of books on the coins, on ancient Greek and Roman coins, but
Ooh,
no, I haven't really had the desire to write any kind of firearm book. No, but I don't. I don't think people read. Basically, we stopped selling books. We used to sell all kinds of books on firearms, but about 10
Yep.
years ago, we turned basically closed that down to where I got a couple of books up there, but but people just don't buy books anymore. So except for me.
Well,
Yeah, they started to come back a little bit. It seems like with a lot of more
Yeah,
people getting in the hobby.
but a lot of people just rely on the internet for free information, and well, a lot of that might be good, but yeah,
a lot might be wrong though.
yeah, on 98Ks alone, I got about 2 feet of books.
Yeah, they're all big. Well,
Oh,
like
yeah.
like the backbone of the Wehrmacht book, they say now is old, and a lot of that is you can't really trust.
Right.
So it sucks that
You know what? He put out the backbone of the Wehrmacht, and it was so full of erroneous information that he recalled all the copies that he could. And the only backbone of the Wehrmacht you can get now is the revised edition.
yeah.
You can't get an original. The originals are rare as hell. I think there might be 5 or 6 out there. But it was so full of nonsense that he literally recalled them all. And Richard Law, I knew him pretty well. And he was so embarrassed. But he basically relied on one of his very, very good buddies' collection of fake guns. He relied on it so much that
Oops.
oops, yeah, no kidding.
Uh,
But yeah, that has been superseded by a lot of the Carabiner 98K books by Karam and Steves,
yep.
and those are really great books.
And you see the price those are going for the the first ones especially.
Yeah, I know.
Oof.
I know the Kriegs model. Yeah, I've yeah, we sold those. We had a bunch of them, and all of a sudden, I guess we had about 20 or 25 of them, and all of a sudden, I mean, I had people trying to buy like 5 or 6 of them at the same time, and I said, "No, I'll sell you one because I don't do that. I'll sell you one, but but we in the space of about 2 weeks, we sold all of them that we had because we were the last people to have any. So, but
Yep. Like collector's editions now.
yeah, I know. It's kind of funny. The book on Swedish uh, uh, firearms, the Swedish Mauser book, Crown Jewels. That was one of my customers that wrote that book, and it was funny that when he finally published the first edition of that book, his wife said, "Well, we don't need these rifles anymore, so you're going to have to sell them to Denny Kroh." So I went to a gun show in Fort Worth, and he lived in very far
More
west Texas.
Swedish Mausers?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, all the ones that were in his book, and we bought them all. So with his wife right there with a whip in her hand.
Shouldn't have finished the book.
And then it went out of print, and it was worth so much money that he reprinted the darn thing. So, but it was going for like $500-600. It was crazy.
So you said people stopped, reading as much, but they are online more, of course.
Yeah.
So do you do you follow any YouTubers or podcasters or whatever content creators like
Not at all.
online?
Not at
Wow,
all.
like there's the history side, there's people who shoot only, there's people who, do a little of both.
Not even my buddy Ian McCallum. I don't look at
Yeah.
his either.
Why not?
I don't know. I just don't have time, to be honest. I'm
Oh.
I'm traveling a lot. I'm playing guitar a lot, and I'm buying guns here and there and selling the hell out of them.
Do you look up guitar people on YouTube?
I know most of them. So, we, Deb and I take about 6 or 8 cruises a year, and about 5 of those are music-themed cruises. So
Cool.
there's Monsters of Rock and Rock Legends cruise and lots of things like that. And we know most of the people that are playing on those, for many, many, many years. I've known some of them for 50 years. So,
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So it's kind of old home week when we go on these things, but we keep in touch with a lot of people in the music business as well.
All right, so it seems you are a musician slash music fan who, on the side, has a Milsurp firearm business.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
You would maybe think you would be defined by the guns and stuff, but it seems you're more defined by the music, which is cool.
Well, it's kind of
It's better in 2023, but it's safer.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, but it's I know I'm still I still buy a lot of music and stuff like that, a lot of CDs and things like that, and stay in touch with a lot of musicians. And I'm, like I said, I wrote a lot of books about ancient Greek and Roman coins. There's one of them that's on our book page that's the standard reference for.
Do you still get an email now and then from some coin guy asking you?
Oh yeah, all the time. Museums, stuff like that.
Cool.
They call me a lot, and even other dealers call me a lot and ask me questions because I was the Rain Man, they used to call me.
All right, see, that would be great in a movie. We got to get this made. This whole story.
The whole coin chapter,
the
music
coin,
chapter.
right. Picture him. He's like the wild Vietnam vet coming out, and he has to put on the suit to sell the coins, and then he says, "Fuck this! I'm not selling coins anymore."
That's right.
Right? He throws it down. The music plays, and it's that igloo song.
Yeah, World is an Igloo.
Oh, that'd be so good. And then you film it on location in Sweden and all these different places.
Auction against Salmon Crew.
Right, there's a whole Vietnam flashback part where we go back.
Yeah, I don't have flashbacks, thank goodness.
Not that guy. Yeah.
I was about to say, it's not the right word.
Oh, you killed with a steady hand. I could tell from the story you told. You had a steady hand.
Well, yeah, I was a combat medic more than anything. My job was to save lives, not take them. But I wasn't going to sit there and.
So how many guys did you save? You think?
Oh, hundreds on both sides.
Whoa! But like you had to do like straight up movie stuff, like run over, rip open the pouch, throw it on the like it was straight up.
Yep.
You were that medic?
I was that medic, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So that's wild.
And plus, I did a lot of hearts and minds stuff. I delivered a bunch of babies and stuff like that, and inoculated people for different diseases and Vietnamese. And
but you also jammed in the morphine.
Oh yeah.
Oh, geez. So
not myself.
It's got to be hard to phase you then at this point. I mean, you can't be phased.
There's very, very. I'm pretty much unfazable. That's for sure.
I can see why.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were able to handle it. So, you didn't like it? Why didn't you stay further in the armed forces? Why did you even come out?
I got my 3rd Purple Heart. I got blown out of a helicopter at 200 feet above a rice paddy. So, 19 broken bones later, they didn't have any use for me. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it.
And you're how old?
I was 20.
20. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Kids today at 20 kind of have the same experience that you have.
No,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Not at all.
No, and
Man.
that was my third. That was my third helicopter crash. So
Oh
but
my God.
yeah.
You couldn't. Maybe that's why you thought you were invulnerable. You couldn't be killed.
No. I've been in 3 plane crashes too.
Wait, what?
Still wanted to fly, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, were you flying when it crashed, or was the?
Only one of them. Only one of them. The other 2 were commercial jetliners. But
What the? Not many people could say I've been in multiple crashes.
I know.
Plane crashes.
Yeah.
What are the chances of that?
Oh my God.
Oh, it was just both instances where the landing gear wouldn't go down, and so they foamed up the runways, and the plane dumped all their fuel over the ocean, and then came in for a landing and skidded to a stop and ruined everybody's luggage.
See, I wouldn't even put this in the movie because it wouldn't be believable at this point. You'd be
Oh,
like, "Oh, great! Now the plane is crashing. All right, sure."
yeah,
Another one.
another one. I figured, people ask me, "Aren't you nervous about flying in airplanes these days?" I'm going like, "Hell no! What are the chances?" I mean,
What are the chances? It happened to you 3 times.
I know.
What are the chances of a 4th time?
Yeah, what are the chances that it could happen 4 times? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh shit. All right, gentlemen. I think we covered it all. What do you think, Kelly?
So I think the last couple of questions we had were about the future of Empire Arms.
Yes.
So do you plan to just keep on doing this as long as you can, or are you gonna retire or maybe hand it off to somebody else?
Well, I actually considered retiring when when my uh, when my previous wife Desiree was circling the drain, and
Oh, Jesus.
gonna
Come on, Dennis.
retire, and and I I gave it serious consideration. But when I met Deb, she decided that, hey, this is fun. Let's keep doing this. So she's but I've already retired. I basically retired from the military. I retired from music. Retired from the coin business, and so this would be my 4th retirement. And I don't think I think I'm going to continue to do this until I can't do it anymore, and I'll know when that is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Deb, for keeping it going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Will you ever shave the mustache?
No.
You're dying with the mustache. You're saying it now.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean,
It
it got shorter after COVID because of the wearing the stupid mask. It kind of stumped its growth, but
Oh no.
really
But the
did.
sun.
But it's doing a lot better now. Well, it might not be quite as pronounced because I'm kind of getting a little gray there. So
Just to confirm, you said you still owned the heart sequined crotch pants and the
no,
blouses. What?
no, I don't.
Ah,
Yeah, they got lost somewhere along the way.
some lucky, some lucky guy got them.
Or girl.
Oh, girl.
Yes, that's 26.
Yeah. Yeah, really. I couldn't even get one leg in them now, I don't think.
Dennis, you're living the life here,
Yeah, I know.
Nope. And if anyone that listens to this, they're gonna say this is a good, honest man. You'll get more people to sign up for for their wives to call you when they die. I think too.
Yeah, get you some more customers.
Well,
You have that on your
many
website. You have
thousands, we got over 26,000 customers that get our emails, and many thousands of them have us written in their wills. So
all right. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate you giving us your time and your stories, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, it was an absolute pleasure having you.
oh well, thank you. I hope I didn't bore you too badly, but
Oh
No, but
not a bit.
but just ignore it when you see the unauthorized bio of Dennis Kroh come out.
oh my goodness.
Because I think I have enough to put out the small version.
I don't think so.
Don't worry. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming on.
Hey,
And
it's been a gas, and hopefully we can do this again.
All right. Yes, definitely.
Love to.
And thanks to your wife for putting up for taking you away for so long.
Oh, not a problem.
Alrighty.
And enjoy that next trip, right? You're going on in a couple of days, I think, again.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to Lima.
Peru. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
Don't know how you do it.
Well, one step at a time,
Yeah. All right. Well, safe travels.
Yep.
All right.
Safe travel. All right. Take care.
Bye.